Welcome, everyone. This is The Ends Justify the Memes, the show where the lowest of the low, that is the most wretched of wretched and deplorable to end all deplorables, two white heterosexual Christian males from the American South talk about culture, philosophy, history, health, fitness, and what it means to be a man in the 21st century. I'll be your host, Bill, and this is my producer and co-host, Tank. And below us today, we have a four-time World Muay Thai champion, Kit Cope. So, crack
that
open a
is
beer.
I. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. And lend us your ear because the ends always justify the memes. So, Kit, I am going to apologize ahead of time. If I call you Kip on occasion, it's because I have a buddy named Kip. And
Gotcha.
I keep catching myself. I've been trying to show the stream, and we've had to cancel it.
It's a bad one.
Yeah. Something you beat me up over.
That's a, dude. When you have a name like Kit Cope, dude, I've heard all kinds of stuff. All kinds of Kip, Kent, bad words. I get it all, dude. Because nobody believes your name is Kit Cope. It's too easy. It's too easy. It has to be something else. How do you pronounce this? Is this coupe? What's going on here? No, these are words in the English language. It's very simple. Yeah.
Well, I literally
they rhyme with all kinds of bad shit.
Right. I have a friend. I haven't seen him in a long time, but because he's kind of a nomad. But I have a friend I've known for about 25 years. Used to be a martial arts mentor of mine, and that's Kip. And I've tried to show the show.
You have to grow up doing martial arts.
Right. So every time I try to show the show, I end up saying Kip, knowing that I need to say Kit. So forgive me, brother. Forgive me ahead of time.
Kit Carson, Kit Cloud Kicker, if you're on that end.
Oh shit, that's a throwback.
Yeah. Night Rider Kid.
Night Rider. What was your fighting name, man? I've watched a couple of your fights, but I didn't catch a name, or I don't remember it.
Oh, my ring name?
Yeah.
Oh man, I've had so many. So most people get one and they just keep it.
Right.
Unless you're Diego Sanchez and you go through like 8 midlife crises and decide, okay, well, you know what? The nightmare is it's too aggressive and it's hurtful. So I'm going to be the dream. Okay. I got my ass kicked when I was the dream. I need to be the worst nightmare. And he just keeps going like that. But no, my first fight that I ever had, it was like a 3-day notice fight because my teammate got the herpes, and they won't let you fight if you've got the herpes. Right? And so I had been training for like 3 months. I mean, now mind you, that was like I was instantly in love, so I was training every day, all day for 3 months. But I was like, I didn't think I was anywhere near fighting yet. And they were like, who else do we have that can make 118?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. 6 foot tall, by the way.
He's like 7 pounds. I don't even know, man, because I'm 152 right now. What are you weighing?
61.
161. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, but you're pretty lean. I mean, you're really lean.
Yeah.
Like
I get a little fairly lean.
Yeah, I got a little beer weight, not a lot, but a little bit. But
I got a little. I keep a little beer weight over here on this side. Yeah.
You're training professional fighters though for real. So
dude, this is cheating. It's cheating. Right. Everybody, oh man, dude, you're so shredded. I'm like, I can't eat enough. I have to move my ass so much just to maintain this. I have to eat more than I want to.
So anyways, man, problem. Yeah, what was the name?
So my first name, so it was a 3-day notice. I was 16. I was fighting a guy that was 27. So, as a 16-year-old, like you're fighting a man. And I didn't have a name, and like I said, I was a kid, so I just let my coach do everything. And so the guy's name that I was fighting was Billy the Kid Rebello. Of course, you always remember the first one, right? So because I have fights that I've totally forgotten, but his name was Billy the Kid Rebello. So my coach, because he's Thai, and in Thailand they look at cowboys like we look at Vikings.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So cowboys to them are like fucking warriors, right? So he said, so he puts on and I didn't even know until I read it once I got to the venue that night of the fight, and somebody gave me a program and I was on it, and it said Kit the Marshal Cope. Him not knowing that a marshal isn't really a feared thing.
Right. A cowboy.
you know, he's like, yeah, because he's Billy the Kid and you're the marshal.
You're Pat Garrett.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, we're not really afraid of them.
Yeah. The lawman.
So
the lawman
my
comes.
First name, my first name was just kind of given to me, and then I was like, okay, I guess I should come up with a nickname, with a fighting name, since I'm fighting already. And so I think I went to Dr. Kit Cope first, because of course I'm a surgeon. Yeah. So somebody already had dentist. Dentist
I saw some surgery. I saw some surgery in a few of your Thai fights.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw you drop one guy during the.
Just open up, see what's inside there. See what's going on inside your head, that kind of thing. But then, it didn't really stick. Nothing stuck because I'm already Kit Cope. It's already a nickname. You know what I mean?
It's there, right?
And so like nothing would really stick. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be Kit Cope in this fight. And then the announcer dude, I think it was in Oklahoma. The announcer guy just got crazy, and he was like, introducing, coming out of the blue corner, Crazy Kit Cope. And so now it's on the internet, and it's like, oh, Crazy Kit Cope. It was on like SureDog that was my name, Crazy Kit Cope, because this dude said it. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, great. Now I'm Crazy Kit Cope. Really? So then I think I changed from crazy. Oh, not even joking. I got a cantankerous Kit Cope.
What?
Yes. Okay, so ring announcers and commentators like to show off their verbiage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
They like to sound like they read, basically. And so, yeah. So one of the ring announcers said, I believe it was in not Taiwan, Singapore, and he said, "Cantankerous Kit Cope, the cantankerous Kit Cope." Nobody caught on to that one. Like, that didn't stick at all. And so I was just cantankerous Kit Cope for that fight. And then I just kept kind of changing. And then I think the one that I ended up with for the most fights was toward the end of my career. And that was Part-Time Lover.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a fighter and a part-time lover.
The only reason that I chose Part-Time Lover is because, so when you're fighting, oh, there it is. When you're fighting, leading up to the fight, the only thing that your brain wants to think about is the fight, and what can go wrong, and what you should do, and you just play the fight over and over in your head, just scenarios over and over again. And so you need something that distracts you from that. So a lot of dudes, like if you pay attention to what kind of music puts you in what kind of mood, or takes you to what kind of thought process, or that kind of thing, or movies, or, activities that you have to think about this and can't be thinking about the fight, like those are cherished things. And for me, it was Bop It. Bop It?
The game? Bop It?
Yeah. Twist it, pull it, flick it, spin it, bop it. That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that one, when I'm doing that, I'm just there. I got nothing else going on. I'm just there. And so that and Patsy Cline, oddly enough. I mean, it's not like I don't listen to Patsy Cline a lot at all, but for some reason it just takes my mind completely off of the fight.
That's your zone music.
Yeah, so I got Patsy Cline in my back pocket for my get in the zone music.
Yeah.
Right. So then I was listening to music one day and it was when we were training. So we have the same kind of playlist that we play when we train, and it gets us in the zone for training, because it's what we do every time. And so we know when we hear those songs, like that's time to get in the groove. And so we added Part-Time Lover to our playlist. And and it was kind of toward the end of our playlist. So by that time in training, like you're really in the groove and you're relaxed and you're really kind of in, getting into your flow state. And so I was like, oh man, I want to play this for my walkout song. I want to play Part-Time Lover for my walkout song. So I guess I'll just be Part-Time Lover. That'll justify the song. And so that's literally how I came up with the name.
I'm surprised that through all that, because I kept thinking in my head, like at some point I would have thought Kit the Kid Cope would have came out, like something like that, just because it sounds nice. So it sounds
that would have been great. It totally would have been fitting in the beginning of my career, because I was the youngest guy on the
You're like a young prodigy, team. Right?
I turned pro when I was 17.
Right.
I was always beating up old guys, older dudes. And so like I was always the kid until, but then when you're not the kid anymore and you see like their nickname is still the Kid, you're like, yeah, you have a beard. Yeah. And when you get into your career and you're still because when you're the kid, you're like, oh man, like he's young and look how good he is, and so they give you that little boost. But then when you're seasoned and you're still the kid, like no, we've watched you, you've been doing this for a long time, you're done, no longer doing old. Good for your age.
Right. Well, I have a ton of questions, man, because when we first met, we were just kind of talking. We had kind of had some chill time, and we were kind of BSing back and forth. And I didn't know who you were. I knew you were one of the instructors there, but I assumed you were a military guy or something like that, some sort of firearms guy. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're rolling in those circles. But in any case, since I met you, and since we kind of chatted a little bit, I was like kind of interested. I was like, man, I'm not a huge I've done Muay Thai in the past, mostly when I was a teen. I'm not a huge guy who's followed Muay Thai, but I love MMA, and I used to watch a lot of boxing back in the day too. I used to train boxing.
Back in the day when it was worth watching.
Right. We're talking about back in my teens, so 20 years ago.
90s boxing with Oscar De La Hoya and.
Oh yeah. Well, you had like Tuesday night fights, Friday night fights on ESPN, all that stuff that were, all the time. You had K1 on ESPN back then, all that stuff.
Yes.
So I was into that back then. Haven't been so much over the last few decades because it's kind of gone away. Anything good.
Dead. K1's completely dead.
Right. But I have done some research on you, which I want to ask you questions. Obviously, I want to keep it. We've met each other, so we have somewhat of a personal relationship, which I'll hopefully get to train with you and see you again in the future. But I do want to get into the Memecast news before we break into all that, before the show goes on too long. So Tank, let's do that, man. Play the sounder for that, brother. All right, guys, this is the real fake news. Looks like we lost Kit, but that's all right. He'll be back, I have no doubt.
I'm here. I'm here. I ran out of.
Oh, you're fine,
ran
man.
out of beverage.
You're absolutely fine.
I'm in the bus that I'm building.
We're gonna have a good time. We had Elliot Hulse on last week, but Elliot was fading after about an hour. He was ready for bed, so.
You sound a little like Optimus Prime right now.
Little Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
A little left loud. Keep going. Do your thing. Do your thing.
All right. Anyways. So, guys, for the memes, here we go. Real fake news. It says, of course, all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive, but it may be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep. His cupidity may at some point be satiated, but those who torment us for their own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience. And that was C.S. Lewis. And I only bring that up because of our current day, right?
Powerful.
Yes. C.S. Lewis was quite amazing. So, in breaking news, we have Rutgers University will require students to get the COVID-19 vaccine in order to attend in-person classes next fall. And this is the trend. Kit, you and I talked about this briefly. You were talking about how everything's very corporatist in the world, and I think you understand these perspectives. I think it's definitely that, but it's NGOs and some other stuff going on that's kind of pulling the strings behind the scenes. But we can get into all that.
It's Game of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones.
No, it always is, man. That's history, right?
It's just history. These people over here accumulate some power, and then these people accumulate some power, and then they go, you know what? There's way fewer of us powerful people. Let's band together as powerful people and just take everything else.
I would agree 100%. And so with the passports, the vaccination passports, we have the Biden administration is working to develop a vaccine passport that will allow Americans to travel and enter businesses that require proof of vaccination, from the Washington Post. And of course, this is absolutely absurd in a free country.
And has been prophetized well before this to their exclusive denial.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I don't watch Sebastian or listen to Sebastian Gorka that often, but I did catch this tweet here. It says they want you to have a vaccine passport to travel inside America, but illegals with COVID get in for free with zero papers. Do you understand what's going on? And this is true that many of the folks that were arrested or apprehended at the border were then released, and it turned out that they had COVID. They were released into local communities. I don't think, as we stress often, that COVID is that big of a deal to be worried about if you're a generally healthy person. But still, if you are the federal government and you are the administration, the Biden administration, wouldn't you think you would at least pretend that you were taking this seriously, like on this front?
It's another it's another thing that we go, this is insane, and then you think back to, hold on, I just said this is insane yesterday about the other thing, and then the day before about the other thing. It's just not. It's crazy to me that we're still surprised, and me included. Every time one of the next ridiculousness comes out, I'm surprised, and I go, why are you surprised? It's all ridiculous. And it just doesn't end.
Sorry about that, guys. You got to see some things from my mortgage apparently there. I don't know what I hit there, but something just got pulled up, some old paperwork. In any case, no, I would agree with you.
At first,
Kit.
I was like, wait, the chick with the gun and the crab, that's from your mortgage?
No. Before that, there was
I know.
that's my background screen, yeah. Unfortunately, I have a touch screen that I never use on my computer. So I leaned over and accidentally touched it, and some random document came up. So that was fun.
So, by the way, I've been told by my guy. I got a buddy that works CBP in right across from Juarez, El Paso. My wife's from El Paso, and I forget the name of it all the time. She won't listen to this though. So she's like, I listen to you talk all the time.
It's the way my wife is.
I'm not going to sign up for it. So he said, this is the day before yesterday. He had just delivered 10 children all by themselves with one young male claiming to be 17 to a facility in El Paso that was at that time 1,300% capacity. So here's my question on that. Oh, by the way, so he said he just delivered those 10 kids to that facility, which was 1,300% over capacity. And he also said 100% of the people that are coming across the border are coming into the country and being released. 0% of people, no matter what, no matter who, no matter record, nationality, they're getting Russians, they're getting Chinese people, they're getting Middle Easterners, Filipinos, all kinds of people are coming through. It's not just Mexicans. And he said 0% of them are being sent back home.
Yeah, it's catch and release. That is literally the policy, and it's insane. And it's purposeful for many reasons that I talk about often on my other channel, All Minus One, but we do get into here on occasion. But we're going to keep moving because some of the memes cover this. Last week had a lot more immigration memes, not so much this week because the vaccination passport's been the big news, and it says we will be absolutely necessary in black neighborhoods as they have been disproportionately affected by the virus. No passport, no hot Cheetos. Pretty sure
that's not real.
Pretty sure it's a fake tweet.
Is that real? Is that real?
Certainly not. Certainly not.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another thing. Would that surprise you?
No, not from Biden. Not at all.
That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be surprising. It wouldn't be that surprising if it was real.
I don't think he knows what hot Cheetos are, though. That's all I'm saying.
That's probably,
He could have said grape drink or something stupid like that. That would have been the thing. Or,
right. Yeah, he's definitely more of a chicken and the biscuit crackers kind of guy.
Yes. 100%. Here we have the same leftists pushing vaccine passports are the same people claiming that voter ID is racist. There is no actual principle or consistency between the left's agenda except total control. And then we have, so blacks can't get an ID to vote, but they can get a vaccination passport to shop. And here we have vaccination passports are central to bringing China's surveillance state to the U.S. For the free people of the West, this is the last hill to fight and die on. I don't think it's the last hill, but it's definitely a hill to fight again.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
I've been saying this forever that everyone's been so concerned with China's social credit policy that they've kind of forgot that we have our own social credit policy, and it's coming up a lot harder these days.
Well, the banks will
ours is kind of self-imposed. Ours is like, ours is
for now. Yeah.
Media imposed. Yeah. We're self-governing on that one.
Well,
when I say we, I mostly mean they, but the we as in the collective.
Yes.
Really the world.
I was telling Tank before we started that, Laura Trump had Trump Sr. on her. She interviewed him, whatever. She put it up on Facebook. Facebook censored it because Trump was on. They censored the former president of the United States.
Yeah. which they did while he was still in office.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah. Showing ID before you vote. Showing your vaccine passport before you buy food. That's where we're going, man. I say this all the time. As far as my faith goes, a lot of people talk about the mark of the beast and what it is and what it isn't and whatever else. To me, I think it's a general thing that expands over time. Like if anyone's preventing you from buying or selling, whether you worship them, that is the world, the kingdom of Satan, or you do what you're supposed to do and God will take care of you. I think it's pretty much as simple as that. And the world is always going to say, hey, if you don't listen to me, you're not going to get to eat. You're not going to have this. You're not going to have that. They're always going to dangle that over you. And Christianity is always about being essentially, in the end, anti-material, because materialism does not bring happiness.
What do you need? All you need is sustenance, and Jesus says he is your sustenance.
That's right.
Done deal.
Amen, brother. Amen. So let's keep moving.
By the way, as far as IDs go, I saw Owen Schroyer today. He's in McAllen right now.
Okay.
And he said so he's watching them be released, basically. And he said they all get an envelope with papers and cash, and somebody's issuing IDs, photo IDs. I didn't pick up like, are these state IDs, national IDs, who's issuing the IDs? But he said that they are getting photo IDs. So these people illegally in the country don't speak a lick of English. They can get an ID. They can vote. Right?
Yeah, man.
But black people that are English speaking and work in our economy and drive cars and are, living successful lives can't.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the reality is that it's always the racial argument's always an appeal to people's emotions and tribalism.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they use it to divide and conquer.
Or it's an excuse.
Right.
Or it's an excuse, just an excuse that can't be challenged.
Right.
Yeah.
Gouchland County man suffered a rare severe reaction to the COVID-19 vaccine. This was news. He had this skin reaction.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And then we have this.
If it is to heal.
What'd you say?
I said it has to hurt if it is to heal. It's a movie quote with the Luck Dragon.
Yeah. Back a Never-Ending Story. Yeah, I know.
Never-Ending Story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
so we
right.
have Austrian nurse death ruled AstraZeneca reaction. Nurse 49 dies of the vaccine. I'm not saying that the vaccine is going to kill you guys. Tank got the vaccine.
But you know what? I was thinking about this the other day. I spent forever. I work in a field where I came in contact with a lot of people that had coronavirus, and I fully expected to get. I never got it, never once. And then I get the vaccine, and I got sick. I mean, it was only for like a day, but I'm like, what the fuck? Like, the only time I got sick was from the vaccine. I should just like risked it, but it is what it is.
I get it.
Which is not a vaccine.
Yeah,
right.
Makes you wonder.
It's a mRNA.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Treatment.
Well, it's technically a prophylactic.
It's an adjustment to your DNA.
Yeah. Technically, it's a prophylactic to prevent the severity of the coof, which doesn't seem that severe for most people.
Oh, no. That's a normal vaccine. That would be a normal vaccine. That would be a real vaccine. This is not a real vaccine. There's never been another mRNA vaccine.
Right.
Before. It's completely experimental. Not to mention Moderna. look up what Moderna has actually made. Look up all the medicines that have come from Moderna in the past. You know how many you'll find? 0. They've never made a successful product before. However, they're the manufacturers of your vaccine. They couldn't friggin' figure out a way to make your Johnson hard or do some, or kill your headache, like every other pharmaceutical company. However, they could figure out a vaccine for the worst disease I've ever heard.
Right. Well, actually,
which is not a vaccine. Like I said, it's a RNA treatment. It's an adjustment. It's a permanent adjustment to your DNA.
Way to go, Tank.
Well, I didn't know that at the time. Fuck me, right?
Freak. So here we have man skin peeled off, which I already talked about. Department of Homeland Security to rewrite policy manuals will remove the term alien to create less adversarial tone.
Oh,
okay. European Command raised its watch level from possible crisis to potential imminent crisis, the highest level, in response to the buildup of Russian forces on the border of Ukraine. And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will issue executive order banning vaccine passports. DeSantis has been awesome.
Yeah, he's been tearing it up recently.
Yeah. He's really he's a fly in the ointment. He's decided to really do it right, and he knows he's on his own. That's what's rad. Yeah. That's what's rad.
Yeah, it makes me want to move to Florida, but screw that humidity, man.
Dude, I did 9 months, man. I did 9 months, and that was enough. I'm from the desert.
Right. I got family down there, so I'm used to visiting the area through most of my life. And usually my parents growing up, they like to go, during the summer months when I was out of school when it was the worst. So I'm used to that like 90 some odd degree, 99% humidity, Floridian weather.
I lived in Thailand for I have about 4 years in country in Thailand. And it seems different there. So in Thailand, again, there's only 2 seasons. It's like there's hot season and hot wet season.
Right.
It's really hot wet season and hot wetter than that season. Those are the only 2 seasons. And in hot wet season, it's every single day is 90 degrees, 80% humidity. And then in hot, wetter than that season, it's 90 degrees or 100 degrees, 100% humidity. That's the only, there are very few variables. But that seems, it's different there. For some reason, you're just always wet there. Whereas in Florida, you're just like sticky all the time.
Yes. It's the general American South, although Florida isn't, Florida's South, but Florida isn't part of the original South. Yes. But yeah, there's something to the humidity. In the further south you go, the more draining it is of your soul. Yet people do it. I'm watching Rich run these obstacle courses on Instagram and stuff, and I'm thinking, you're doing this now, buddy. I'm not saying you won't in the summertime, but I'm like, man. It's just
we've all run that thing in the summertime.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm
beast.
Just thinking
it's a beast and shit gets slippery.
I remember doing it in the Marine Corps, man. I remember doing it in Paris Island, running obstacle courses, or later on, and when I was in North Carolina and whatever else. It's not fun, but it's sort of fun.
It's totally fun.
Yeah.
It hurts. Yeah. It's totally fun, which is like most of my life.
It's one of those weird guy things, right? It's like, it's not fun to get choked out and beat up, but actually it really is.
Really is, yeah.
So here we have Berlin suspended the AstraZeneca vaccine for under 60-year-olds. And similar news here, recommended not to be given to 55 only due to safety concerns, or under 55. So this vaccine, after numerous months, has finally basically been quashed. All this experimental stuff, by the way, folks, they're telling you to get it. They don't know what it'll do to you. And now they're taking stuff off the market because, well, apparently does more
it's
harm than
hurting
good.
people.
Yeah, yeah.
All these celebrities keep dying right after they get the vaccine, and nobody cares.
No joke,
Nobody
man.
cares. Hank Aaron died after getting the vaccine.
Yep.
Like, and he was just like the first one that people really knew about. Who else had that correlation? You know what I mean? Nobody's going to tell you that. But yeah, people are actually dying, not just like having adverse reactions.
Yeah, we get into this and talk about it quite a bit. It's the classification for COVID death is pretty much anyone who had COVID within 30 days and dies of anything. And then when it comes to the vaccine, it's like, well, let's be really specific about what it was.
So here's the rub on that though too. So if anybody had COVID in the last 30 days, right? So we'll jump off of that bench, off that mark. So the tests for COVID are anywhere from 19 to 40% accurate.
Right. Because
So
the way
if you have almost
test.
if you have any rhinovirus or anything in there, it'll probably pop you positive for COVID.
Yeah. And then we have these people, the branch Covidians. We must start planning for a permanent pandemic. This is insane. That's just called endemic. It means it's going to be here, and
yeah,
it's just part of
Forever.
society now.
Dude, I keep hearing commercials and stuff talking about masks are here to stay.
Nope,
Not for this guy.
not me.
They've never been here. They've never been here.
We have
No,
Corona.
you know what? They actually were. I made a bunch of man shit masks.
Yeah.
In like the first 2 or 3 weeks when they were like, when we had no idea what was going on. And then when they were saying don't wear masks. Before they said wear masks. They were saying don't wear masks, but everybody was trying to fucking find masks. So I literally, me and my mom and my wife sat at the sewing machine and ripped out a bunch of man shit masks. I had my guys put man shit on them and stuff, and we sent them out to people. But that was in like the like I said, like when they were saying don't wear masks, and everybody was like, but everybody was buying the masks, and all the little videos of all the people buying the carts full of masks and stuff were coming out.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, they don't want us to have masks, so we should probably get masks.
Yeah.
So I made a bunch of masks, and then they were like, okay, everybody wear masks. And I was like, oh, you got me.
Well, no, you did the right thing. When they told you that you shouldn't have it, you had it. And when they told you should, you're like, no, screw off.
Right.
That's the way to approach it. I mean, generally speaking, if
It's
the government
almost,
tells
that's
you something,
almost a sure thing.
yeah, if the government tells you something, you should be pretty suspicious that they're not correct about it. By the way, folks, if you want to check out Kit's company, Man Shit, it is linked in the description.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is one of our items. This is you can't see the cool part. Ready for the cool part? I'm gonna try to get my shade a little bit if I can. Can you see it?
No. Lean back. Can we see that? Can you see that, Bill?
I do, but I don't have my
Oh, I
screen
think I'm in the sun.
at the moment.
The sun
Show
moved
up
on
later,
me.
man.
The sun moved on me since I set up. It's actually been in my eyes this whole time. That's why I keep going like this to try to get out of it. All right, this is the back. All right, there.
That looks a little bit better, yeah. What's it say?
It says a lion. You should know the quote, right? You see now?
Well, we can't see the top
A
of
lion
it.
does not concern himself with the opinions
The
of sheep.
opinions of a sheep. Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
Lion
We got
does
it.
not concern himself with the opinions of sheep. And it's got a sheep with a mask on.
Yeah, speaking of sheep and masks, we have the coronavirus, double mutant COVID variant found in India.
Oh, double mutants now.
Yeah.
We're doubling the mutancy.
Yeah. And then we have researchers in Mexico create nose-only masks.
Yeah.
So you can eat and not breathe in corona particulates, which is funny because I was more than certain, in fact, having many years of experience as a first responder and working in hospitals and some medical training, I was pretty certain masks were only used to protect others from your sputum or spittle or ejections, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So what's funny is like this is ridiculous for sure. But the CDC took it seriously and put out like their press release. Hey man, this is not a good mask. You have to cover your mouth too.
Which wasn't even the point of it.
It's a big thing.
Yeah. Was not even the point of it. Here we have the UK now considers facial recognition to enter pubs and events. This is part of that tracking.
God almighty.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
Eat healthy, exercise, use natural remedies, restrict oxygen intake, and get experimental shots. That's the way, guys. That's how you do it. Here we have some of the blue hairs checking in. Says, no, you can't just identify as being vaccinated. That only works with social constructs like having a penis. I didn't realize I socially constructed my my huang.
My huang.
Yes. Wasn't aware of that, but apparently I did. I must have great powers. When you talk about something important and all you get back is that fluoride stare.
Oh my God.
Yeah, get that a lot, unfortunately. And then we have the state stole 1 year of my life. The state stole 1 year of your life. So far. Old Homer with the great dad lessons.
I don't know how it works out this way, but listening to some people smarter than me about the setbacks that the school kids are getting. So I would think like, okay, well, they lost a year. They're going to be set back a year. But these expert people in child development are saying that it's going to take them like 8 years to recover from the 1 year.
Oh my goodness. No. This is the stuff, dude. I was an education major briefly, like 29 to 30 or whatever. So as I was doing that and doing teacher observations, it's just absurd where education's gone. That was 10 years ago. One of the things that they were doing at the time is they were saying, and they still do this, they've been doing it for a long while, is that kids in middle school, you can't fail. You can't fail a middle school kid because at that time their emotional development is too fragile and you'll hurt their feelings and basically they'll never recover. At the same time, based on that theory, they're doing this. I'm giving tutoring to kids who are in 7th and 8th grade who cannot read Dr. Seuss books. I kid you not. Kid you not. So it's more important that they are not emotionally hurt than being literate. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if I wasn't consistently emotionally hurt, I'd probably be a little bitch. Right? Isn't that how
I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I think you grow thicker skin through that emotional abuse to some degree,
Absolutely.
I think there's a way to do it with love, though, the way most men do it. I mean, for me, it definitely was good for me to be in the military and later work in like law enforcement for that specifically, because it was that kind of toughness I didn't necessarily get growing up. I mean, if I had other kids mess with me when I was growing up, I was pretty hot tempered when I was young, and I'm little. I mean, we've met, I'm not a big guy. So I would get in a lot of fights, and I usually would be the one. Well, I was always the one who won the fight, but the point is, I didn't usually want to fight back, but people would mess with me, and at the same time, I probably could have if I had more, I don't know, masculine leadership growing up, more roughhousing things, a lot more men in my life than I had. Don't get me wrong. My father was in the home and all that. And my father was not a bad father at all. It's just, they had lives, they worked. But if I
Right.
had more of that, it would have toughened me up far more sooner than having to toughen up a lot more in the military and then later on in law enforcement and whatever else. Just hard knocks in life that I feel like I should have learned as a kid much earlier than I did, right?
How old are you now?
I just turned 40 last
okay.
month.
Yeah, you're up there with me.
Yeah. You're like 43, right?
40. I turned 44 last week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're close in
St.
age.
Patty's Day.
Yeah.
Well, what I was thinking is, like, I went through a lot of hazing in grade school, like a lot. Like I feel like our generation, in grade school was rough, man. Like there was no recourse for hazing and getting picked on and stuff like that. There was nothing that you could do. Like what are you going to do? Tell the teacher? Now you're that kid? No. And so everybody handled their own shit.
Right.
So that you didn't get in trouble with the teachers. Right now they run to the teachers apparently because that's what you have to do. Because if you get in a fight in school now, you go to jail and shit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I remember. I'm not sure what grade I was in. I was in elementary school. I think I was like in 5th grade or something. And I generally despise bullies. I just don't like bullies. So maybe because every now and again a bully would try and do something to me, and I'd be like, no. But often I would come to people's
magnet, dude.
Right. Often I would come to people's aid though, and I remember there was this kid that was taking all these kids on the merry-go-round. We were at recess, whatever, in elementary school.
That old story.
Yeah, and I stood up to him, and he like hit me behind the ear, and I didn't fight him back. I basically just kind of like pushed him away or did whatever. And I wasn't even upset about that. But then the lunch aides or whatever they were, the ladies that watched recess, saw this kid fighting me, and I didn't fight back, and they put us both against the wall, and I cried about that because I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. And so for me, my sense of justice in like the fact that justice wasn't served because I was protecting other people and I was in trouble, as well as the kid too that started it. But for me, that was a bigger deal that was violated than the kid punching me or doing anything else. And I remember this very specifically. And as far as bullies and stuff go, far more in middle school. I got in a lot of fights in middle school, mostly outside of school, fortunately. So was lucky about that. But yeah.
I got in a lot of fights in like grade school and then high school. I got good at just being the funny kid in middle school. But I had giant ears. I mean, I still have giant ears, but I had big old ears and a smart mouth. And so and I was tiny. I was tiny. Like I said, I graduated high school at 126. So, yeah, I was just a little dude. So I was easy to pick on. And so, yeah, I got in a lot of fights. And then when I was finally in my senior year, when I came back, now I went to 6 different high schools, and I will tell you that 2 of those changes were because of fighting. I had a smart mouth, and I had an inability to accept assholes. I couldn't just accept that somebody's being an asshole. I had to say something every time. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. And so that got me into a lot of fights. And then, just being a smart ass got me into a lot of fights.
Yeah.
And then just being little and funny looking got me into a lot of fights. And then my senior year of high school, the second semester of my senior year, not even my whole senior year, the second semester of my senior year in high school, I got in 5 fights.
Wow.
Because in February, I went on the U.S. team to Thailand, and came back, and then they're like, oh, hey, Kit Cope, back from Thailand, U.S. kickboxing team, silver medal, blah, blah, blah. And then all the people that are like, wait, Kit Cope, the skinny little tiny twerpy kid
You
with
ain't
the
nothing.
Dumbo ears?
Yeah.
And so I got 5 fights after that announcement because, you know, as a high school kid, you're like, no way, that kid's good. And so then I had to beat people up in my high school.
I've had that, man, as an adult. Guys I used to work with, they'd be like, well, you can't fight. You can't do this and that. And I'm like, dude, have you ever seen a professional fight? I'm like, I'm nowhere near the level or caliber of a professional fighter, but I guarantee you I can slip your punch, right? Like, and that's the stuff people, you can't just dodge that. You can't block. Oh, no, it doesn't happen. It's like, dude, you're talking about like bar fights that you've seen because you've never trained. So when someone gets good, you can't touch them.
There's a difference, just training and not training. And I'm even talking about like training versus getting in a bunch of street fights. Because I've fought a number of people that were just brawlers, street brawlers, and experience is good. Yes, experience is helpful, but you're just having a luck contest mostly.
Yes.
I'm winging, you're winging, one of us is going to connect, right? Usually the more aggressive guys, wins. That doesn't happen in real fighting. The aggressive guy doesn't always win. But in a street fight, it's overwhelming, and so you could just be that guy, right? Experience is okay, but training, if you are training, that means that you're doing this with other people that are learning how to do this better.
Generally,
all
yes.
the time.
And it's humbling, right? Super humbling initially.
Oh, man. I was just talking about this yesterday with an interview I was doing for a magazine thing that my first 3 months, and this is why I didn't think I was anywhere near fighting, because in my first 3 months, and by the way, when I did have my first fight, I won. It was my only amateur fight. I only got to have one. But I didn't know shit. I didn't know shit. I did what my coach told me to do. It was literally, I was just in there, rock 'em, sock 'em, and my coach was on the sideline going, okay, right hand, left hook, right kick, and just working the controls, and that's how I won the fight. I didn't know what I was doing. But I did have that one nice amateur surprise fight. But for that 3 months that I was training, I didn't think I was anywhere near fighting because I just got my ass whooped every day. Every day. That was my job. My job is that we had 2 professionals that were active fighters, Melchior Minor and Ben Garcia, and both world champions, as well as Kiyotaka Kato, who's another world champion. He would come in from Japan. And I was the guy that you could beat up that would just keep coming back because I was 16 years old.
Yeah, and people don't realize, like I said, back in the day, so when I first got introduced to kickboxing, Muay Thai, Western boxing, all that stuff, it was through a guy that was doing this Wing Chun system. So we did that as well, but he was a Golden Gloves boxer. He was in the Muay Thai. He had a Taekwondo black belt.
Chinese boxing is a thing.
Right.
And
I'm just saying.
It's actually kind of a combination of Wing Chun and boxing.
Right. All I'm saying is that this guy had
multiple disciplines.
Multiple disciplines. He's really good. I mean, this guy would get on a double impact. Unfortunately, he passed away some years ago. Old Sifu Wayne. He had gotten to early dementia, in his 50s. But when I was a kid, I was training with him. I mean, the guy was in his early 40s, still had a 6-pack, all that stuff, great shape. He could get on a double end bag, right? And he would hit it, fist, jab, cross, hooks, all that stuff. And then he'd start side kicking it. And then he would do a spinning round kick to it. No joke. I actually have this. Very impressive. I've been very fortunate with teachers because I'm a nobody. I'm a mediocre, whatever. I'm just a guy who's lived my life, right? And I've been fortunate to run into and have good experiences. And this guy's teaching out of his garage. And
But
I kid you not,
been living on purpose. Like
yes,
you've been living.
Yes, that's true.
Living.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a difference.
You're absolutely right, Kit. That's a good point. But this guy, I do have a friend, a chiropractor friend of mine who's in a few towns over that he has video of this guy doing it in his 50s while he's suffering from dementia. And it's not as sharp and as good when I used to train with him as a teen, but it's still impressive to even have it on camera and to see a guy hit a double end bag and just out of like nowhere, like jab cross, spinning round kick, hits it straight on with the heel, no problem, right back into it, right back, jab cross, jab cross.
I can't do that. I've
seen nobody ever. I've never seen anybody anywhere do that except for this guy. And I trained under this guy for like 5 years. But in any case, I didn't even know what my original point was. I got on the whole thing.
Coaching, mentorship.
Well, just training. Oh, I know what it was. The first time, so my Sifu, he always took us back. He would always take a team. So I'm like 16 at the time, and he always got this kid that like he really mentored, and I was that guy, right? And there was always a torch that we passed down to the next guy, when we went off to college or for me in the military, whatever it was. And he'd be like, come in on Wednesday. And I'm like, okay. He didn't teach anybody on Wednesday. So it's me and him, just boxing gloves. And it's like, okay, all you can do is jab cross. I'm like, all right, Sifu, whatever. I'm trying to hit him. Cannot touch the guy. And then he's just going, just with rhythm, just sheer rhythm, just going, bink, bink. You know what I'm talking about? Like a slow, just touching you, just pure rhythm striking. And my nose is getting touched up. My eyes are watering. And I'm like, whatever. And he's like, yeah, your eyes are watering. He's like, that's your pride. But the point was this. He was like, look, man, you're trying to hit me. He's like, I've been doing this for so long. I can see how you're moving. I can time it. I didn't have to think about it. My body does it. For you, you have to develop this skill. And he goes, and what you're learning right now is the difference between, me doing this for however long Wayne had trained, I don't know, 20, 30 years versus me at the time when I was like 16 and I've been training for like 3 years, Right. So, or trained seriously in schools for 3 years. I think I've been training for a couple years before that, but either way, people don't understand.
There's a difference.
Yeah. I do it with folks all the time. When I train people, I'm like, all right, touch me. And it's not a pride thing. It's a game to let them know that, hey, you don't know what other people can do. You don't know
what you don't know.
You don't know. Yeah. And it's like, touch me. And it's like, oh, you can't touch me? Oh, I can touch you. So in any case, let's keep going memes, man.
Yeah. We got sidetracked. That happens with me consistently.
What's that?
I said getting sidetracked on tangent happens with me fairly consistently.
This is the show, man. The show's a bunch of rabbit holes. This is Tank's idea, actually. He's being quite quiet. He does talk. We have to prompt him sometimes. But we are, guys, if anyone is interested on Friday, this Friday, that will be April 2nd, having a stream with a few of our friends that we've made in the YouTube streaming sphere. And we'll be having, it's just a drinking stream. We're just going to chill, have some drinks, conversate, whatever. Friday night stream. Last time we had one, got a little rowdy.
Sounds like a good recipe.
A little rowdy, huh?
But this time we're gonna have 6-7 people on, so it's gonna be fun. See where it goes. All right, let's keep moving. So here, trust us. You don't need assault weapons to protect yourself. Yes.
Trust us, guys, with assault rifles.
Assault rifles, that's right.
Assault rifles.
Less than a month ago, the U.S. bombed Syria. Now, a Syrian immigrant shoots up a grocery store. But nobody's having that conversation.
Nope. Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
I don't even think it's allowed to say Syrian at this point. I mean, originally he was a white man. Originally.
Yeah, Twitter was pretty funny that day.
With the Alabus and the Ashawalis, I guess we can't really hide this thing, or whatever his name was. I guess we can't really hide this one. Okay. You got us. not a white
No,
guy.
it doesn't matter though, Kit. Media now claims shooter was factually Arabic,
Wait.
but morally
Did that guy get?
white.
Did that guy get? No, he got captured, right?
He got
Yeah,
he got shot in the leg, but yeah, he did get
But he
captured.
did get captured, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that dude's like, is straight rebounding from that, but nobody wants to say, yeah, that was our fault. That was Joe Biden's fault that this dude got pissed off and shot up a grocery store.
Right. So, and then here we have from random Twitter doctor to Andy No. Andy No is awesome, by the way. All mass shooters are white regardless of skin color because they take the power using military equipment.
What does that mean?
Look at that ratio.
What does that mean?
I don't know,
They
brother.
take the power using military equipment because they take. Okay, hold on. So that would mean that if you take the power, you're being white. Is that what it is?
I think it's
Or
somehow
If you're military, you're white.
it's the idea, right, on the deeper end of things that only to the left, it's only the Europeans that are the evil race, and all other races are great. And I don't like the whole racial issue or ethnic thing, but it's what they do, right?
Ridiculous.
It is absolutely absurd.
And her name is a gape, and that's just gross.
Okay. So here we did a little bit of this last week, but this week. Last week was 2019. This is 2020 mass shooters. And what you'll see is a lot of these are actually inner city gang violence because it's for more people.
They are all morally white.
They are.
Morally white, yes. Morally white. So we will prosecute them as such. Oh, wait, no, we won't.
Well, crazy thing is between Baltimore and Chicago, I'm pretty sure we have a mass shooting every weekend. You just never hear about it because the people that perpetrate it are the wrong skin color. It's amazing.
Well, I was Crowder just said the other day. He just had a big old list the other day of they were like, 7 mass shootings in 6 days, which that's terrible. But there weren't 7. There were like 20. But the ones that they weren't talking about at all, somebody shot 21 people. 21 people. That's a pretty big mass shooting, dude. 21 people. I think only a couple died, but the dude shot 21 people. But the media isn't covering that one because it's a black dude in a shitty neighborhood.
Yeah, and I mean, dude, I used to work. I mean, I didn't work directly in Baltimore, but I would have to go to Baltimore often for work and into nefarious areas, like around Johns Hopkins, for instance. Johns Hopkins is in the middle of the ghetto, and as prestigious as the university is and its medical center. Oh yeah. It's not in a good area, dude. There's only one part of Baltimore, as far as the city goes, that's like the direct city that's not suburbia, like that's really nice.
Yeah.
And that's the inner harbor. And there's a little area around that. I've been down there forever. I'm a Marylander originally, so I'm in West Virginia now, but I'm right over the border, kind of thing. But Baltimore's generally ghetto all around, unless you're on the north side in the suburban area, right? It's just bad, And I can tell you
around Johns Hopkins, that is surprising to me. I did not know that.
Oh yeah. It's still dilapidated all the way around there. Now the hospital's huge and it's modern and whatever else, but area's not that great. And anyways,
you know what? I mean, I guess I mean the hospitals here. We've got UMC, and then we have Sunrise Hospital, which is actually like a like a world famous hospital. They did like the first child heart transplant or some shit like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're like a children's cardiology spot. Like that's a big thing. But that's in the hood. UMC's in the hood. Most of our hospitals are in the hood.
Are you're in Vegas? Is that where you're at?
Beautiful Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. But yeah, no, I was saying about going down there is, you know, we would transport inmates and stuff to hospitals, and we wouldn't necessarily always have people armed, depending on the years over the policies. We would have someone, at least one person armed, but the cops down there would tell us, they'd be like, dude, you guys need to have a gun. You're in uniform. You need to be armed. Like around here, like they ain't no joke. And when the police are telling you that you're in a criminal area, that you're in uniform, and if you don't have a weapon, you might be a target.
Yeah, that's
it's a bad area.
It's not cool,
right?
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not cool. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just not cool.
It's not
all
cool.
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I gotta get my battery.
Go for it, man.
Do I have juice? Not enough juice in that one. Hold on. Let me get this one.
As long as you can come back into it, if you get kicked out in any way, I'm just saying, if you get kicked out in any way, shape, or form, man, just come back in. Tank can let you in at any point.
I got the 10-minute warning. I'm good.
Here we have from C-SPAN: how to prevent mass shootings. Make getting a gun as difficult as it is to vote. You want them mailed out to everybody?
Yeah, I like that. I like that one.
Yeah, these guys like it should be as hard to vote as it is to drive, like get a driver's license. And I'm like, you only need a driver's license to operate vehicles on public roads. So if you made guns like getting a driver's license, that means you can have any gun you want as long as it's on your property.
Tank, thank you. I tried to tell my daughter this as I was trying to teach her how to drive. And I'm like, we can just drive around the neighborhood. We don't need a license. And she's like, no, Dad, no. And I'm like, honey, these are private roads. They're not county or state or anything like that. Like you could drive on these roads.
I don't want to go to jail, Dad.
Yeah, right. Well, she's 16 now, but she still has a learner's permit, doesn't have her driver's license. And you know what? She should have listened. That's all I have to say. Assault rifles should be illegal. Murder is already illegal. Exactly. Assault rifle, the Sturmgewehr, made up term.
However, background checks, universal background checks should be. There's already a background check. Why is this a sticking point? Why is nobody saying that's already a thing? It's already a thing.
Look, man, I have a friend from high school who's very lefty, and I love her. I've known her forever. I've known her since before high school. But her husband, and he was in the Marine Corps, did very much the same thing I did. So he did like high-speed security and then, infantry. In any case, I've talked with them, ran into them, at the bar one time or something like that, and lefties think they're like, I should be able to own the guns, but no one else should. And that's the thing is I talked to them about that, and that's kind of what they think. And it's like, well, but we're responsible, but other people, they can't be responsible.
Right. Yeah.
So at some point we have to sit there and say, well, gee, should rules apply the same to everybody or just I'm special?
But see, that's kind of the issue now, is because so it used to be that was a universal known. Okay. The rules apply equally to everybody across the spectrum. We've always known, however, though, if you have lots of money, you can get away with a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
for sure.
Generally, among the proletariat, the rules are supposed to apply equally. However, we keep seeing all of these one-sided rules, all of this hypocrisy going on. And so that emboldens everybody to assume that they could have something their way and be different than how you're treating the rest of the people, because, well, they're doing it all the time. So it's a possibility now. A little bit of psychology for you.
So here we have, do you have a history of mental illness in your family? I have a cousin that trusts the government. Speaking of trusting the government,
went over earlier.
yeah. Illegitimate ruler, mentally confused and out of touch with reality, lost his favorite son and hates his second son for being such a screw up. Sits back and does nothing while the enemy pounds on the gates of his nation. Now that is from the second Lord of the Rings movie, and of course, yeah. And then of course we have this.
The Clizzers, man. Hey, how are you?
I love this
How
guy.
are you, man? Come on. It's me, Joey B. How'd you get in here? This is a security beach. Look. I got
It's a big beach.
Your name isn't Draco Biden. It's Barack O'Brien. Who sent you? Vice Pina Colada Hairless? No, man, look. You got to get your ass to Neptune. Not Neptune, but Mars. Not Marshalls. We are in the bleachers. No one's looking. $5.25 for a sniff and tug. It was a dude, man. What? Huh? You're being nervous. Look. All I know is if you don't vote for me, you ain't a China guy. Wait, hold on a second. Hey, where'd you go? Your pills, man.
We don't usually have this many like headlines or tweets. Like I throw them in there. I try to keep it more humorous. Yeah. So
That's so good.
I didn't. Yeah. I opened up the show a little slow. So sorry, guys.
So good.
Yes.
Oh shit.
So an actual quote from Joe Biden. He gave his first real presser, even though Jen Psaki said he's talked to the press 40 some odd times.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I believe we should go back to a position of a filibuster that existed when I came to the United States Senate 120 years ago. He literally said this, guys.
Yeah. When you listen, it could be a joke. But if it is, it's a terrible delivery because he just like moves on from it.
Yeah, and we could all believe that he fucked it up that hard too. So it doesn't really work as a joke. Yeah.
Speaking of which, of moving on from, he says, so the best way to get something done, if you hold something near and dear to you that you like to be able anyway. He did that.
We're gonna get a lot done.
Go look at the video. Hey, you know what? You don't have to look at a video. This isn't the video per se.
What you saw on television. These white supremacists, Nazi sympathizers, carrying Nazi flags.
Play it one more time.
What you saw on television. These white supremacists, Nazi sympathizers, carrying Nazi flags, using the.
You know, to be fair, the fascia or the fascistas or whatever is a bundle of sticks. So he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. Technically.
What is that flag? What am I looking at?
I have no idea. I don't even know where this is from. I just know that he's doing this and he looks weird.
I thought it was a mirror. I thought it was a mirrored thing, but his tie is striped one direction, and then when he turns to the side, it's one direction. What is that flag? Oh, there's something foreign writing in the background. Oh no, it's not. It
says text something. Yeah. It looks like Ohio. Maybe it's the Ohio's flag. I don't know. This might have been during his campaign. I have no idea where this video is from. I just came across it the other day and I thought it was funny. So
anyway, that's where my mind goes. I'm like, sniff every piece of this out.
No worries, brother. No worries. Yeah, they're memes. We don't need to fact check them. Undocumented children become Americans before a lot of Americans become Americans. You just went right past full retard and went straight to potato. And I like this. This was from the press conference. You could tell he was doing this.
Oh,
This must be that
man.
Facebook the kids are talking about.
Oh man, that was
painful. And all of these
"Oh,
like
Bobby, you're Jamie, Jen, Chris. What's going on? Yeah, sorry. What were you saying, Tank?
I was saying that Twitter lost their like all these like blue check journals and stuff. Even like conservative guys like Max Boot were like, Biden looks super sharp in that press conference. It's there's no way anyone can call him a dementia patient now or some shit like that. I'm like, bro, like he had to like look at a menu to figure out what's going on.
with pictures.
Yeah,
With pictures, that's right. And even with that, he's holding it up. Watch the press conference, guys. And he points at it and he looks at it and he's like, "Oh, yeah. And trust me when I say that's assigned seating as well. I promise you. They assign those seats. He's not there, guys. He's not there.
We know this.
Yes. So the press asking Trump a question. So that is whatever mathematical formula that is. The press asking Joe Biden a question. What color is orange?
Did you see all the Twitter's also saying like all these left wing guys or whatever were saying how the media was being way too harsh on Biden. Like the media needs to cut Biden a break.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, he is old and senile, so you shouldn't be mean to him, right?
Yeah.
I do feel bad for him. I mean, I feel bad for him.
I agreed, man. Agreed.
Now, a year ago, 2 years ago, I didn't feel bad for him, and he should have met with an unfortunate accident. That he knew was coming. That would have been a great outcome. However, now, so he was evil before in the setup, and now he's just absent. So now it's kind of like, okay, Joe Biden of then, evil dude, put him out. Joe Biden now, which I can't say. It's not what I mean. It's not what I mean. If anybody's watching, I'm not talking about
defensively, Susan. Defensively.
However, defensively. However, now it's sad. It's just sad because they've used him all up.
Well, I sort of feel bad for him. I do feel bad for him because he's obviously senile, but he's obviously cogent enough to know that he does want to be the president. He does want that legacy. There's something there to me where this is a legacy for his family. Hunter's never going
to die.
What's that?
Never going to die.
Yeah. Hunter's never going to be the president. He's never going to be in politics. His brother's never going to be. So I'm not really sure what it's about other than money. I really don't get the motivation.
I don't even think it's a money thing anymore. I mean, they're very well off.
They are now. Yeah, absolutely.
They're very well off. They're all well taken care of if they don't go to prison. I think now it's autopilot, more or less. It's kind of autopilot, and then they say go this way, do that. He's just kind of a puppet. I
don't disagree, Kit, and in fact, I have a meme for that eventually coming up here. Not in this segment, but I mean in this segment as far as the Memecast news, but not in this portion of the Memecast news. It'll be coming up. We'll see. It says it's time to go. Was I a good meme? Not really. Let's go now. Come on, man.
He falls down the stairs.
Yes. Oh, dude, we had great fun with that last week. Then we had Biden launches a new drone attack on arch nemesis. And for all you big brains out there, imagine, if you will, a world where memes are fact-checked, but ballots aren't.
Oh,
ooh,
that hits close to home.
Imagine that world, and it will be so.
This is how I feel about that.
Oh, man.
Man, her laugh is the worst. The worst.
Cackle.
Yes. Do you think you're funny? Do I make you laugh? Like, she just laughs out of nowhere. Look,
Not just, dude, at inopportune times too. Hold on, that's not a laughing matter that you're talking about. You're laughing about struggling parents right now. That's
look,
not
that just made my dog bark.
I
My
think
dog
it's like
barked because it was uneased by that laugh.
I think it's like an for her.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
While she's thinking of something to say.
We had a meme weeks ago with her and the actor back in the day from the old Batman series who played the Joker.
Nah.
And I swear they have a picture with her. It doesn't look that photoshopped at all. She looks just like him. It's crazy. Speaking of lookalikes, we have this is just strange. It's just out of nowhere.
Oh, that is
What?
uncanny.
What?
That is uncanny.
They were separated, and after they were birthed. That's what I think happened. I don't know.
Interesting.
You could save 15% or more on everything by switching to Trump. You really could.
Or more. Yeah.
Yes, or more, a lot more, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Trump can run for Congress in 2022 in Florida if he wins the seat and Republicans take over the House of Representatives. He could become the Speaker of the House. Then his first act could be impeaching Joe and Kamala. If it works, he finishes out the remainder of Joe Biden's term and can still run for president in 2024. That would be
That'd be great.
This is QAnon fantasy land, but it would be awesome to control
yeah.
the left. Yes, it would be amazing.
They would have to give his Twitter back, though, right? If you did that,
No.
they wouldn't.
No. Remember, they took it away from him while he was still the president.
I guess that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
Because he incited the insurrection.
that's all I want. If I could just get his Twitter back, I'll be happy enough.
He is starting his own media thing.
Well,
here.
good for him.
Yeah, I didn't look at a lot of information on that because I've been busy. In fact, I spent the whole day Monday, guys, basically in a car at the birthing center and birthing classes later on because my wife is expecting in
cool.
11 weeks. So
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
She had a little bump out there on the range.
well, it's not little anymore, Kit. It's not.
Yeah. She's waddling now.
Not quite, no, but she's pretty big. I mean, she's a good weight. She's still very thin, but it's
She's a little girl anyway.
Yeah. In any case, it says leftist college students, you guys always act like you're better than me. World's history majors, economic majors, other students with common sense. And it is the Megs of the world that are destroying everything. Tell me the truth. I'm ready to hear it. Wanting to increase taxes on those that have more than you doesn't make you a charitable good person. I mean, it doesn't. You just go help your neighbor, give money when you can. That makes you actually a good person, not making the government take it from you with guns. Just saying. They brainwashed you. Really? It's the truth. All right, next one, parental discretion advised. Parental discretion advised. Here we go. It says transgender rights movement. 98% of straight men refuse to perform oral sex on a female penis due to their bigotry and hatred of trans women.
What the fuck?
Yeah, bro.
Genital-based bigotry.
It's true. Have you heard of the super straight thing, Kit? I wasn't sure if you froze there on screen. You were.
Oh no! I was just agape for some throwback comedy.
Well, this is why the super straight thing came about.
Wow, that is that. Okay, first of all, feminine penis. Feminine penis.
You don't have to address. You can leave it lie. That's all.
What is a feminine penis? Is that just a little gun? A little one?
No, it's any
Because I
penis that
actually had
claims
a
to be a
friend.
woman.
I had a bodybuilder friend that was really into
The roids.
giant bodybuilder roided out chicks with
Oh.
little Johnsons.
Mm,
I would call that a feminine penis,
okay.
which I would also not be willing to perform oral.
I believe that this is talking specifically about the
Oh yeah.
men
Oh no, I get
who
it.
claim
I
they are
get it.
women
Oh, I
who
get it.
are actually just gay men.
Feminine penis.
Yes. Anyways, let's keep moving. Reddit behind the scenes documentary examining the struggles of Reddit all-female staff of moderators. They
What is going on in this photo?
What the fuck?
all right. I'm glad after the sterileness of the beginning, we can get to some cringe. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Reddit just got caught hiring pedos as a site admin. D-Live's like, what? Or sorry, not D-Live, Discord. I keep saying that. Did that last week with Jeremy and Delaney. Anyways, Kids in Cages 2021.
I just saw this on Twitter.
Actually, today I got this like earlier last week or something, and today supposedly she said, "Oh yeah, no, there's not a crisis on the border. No crisis." Yeah, okay, AOC. Speaking of borders, in Canada, if you are starting a new life, contact ISIS.
What the shit?
I don't know, but this little girl seems to really be happy about it.
Imaging. What does it say? Imaging sentiment.
And immigrant settlement and integration services.
Oh, God, thank you.
Are you reading all this on you reading this on your phone, Kit?
Yes.
Guys, this is amazing. Kit, this is our first stream with a guest that is fully doing it from a phone. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it is functioning.
In any case, so this next one, guys, is it's just a really quick. I know whenever I ride, I always bring
that's a
jazz sax musician with me. That's all.
Hell yeah.
You know,
that is a happening party right there.
Yeah, burning stuff down.
I like to listen to music while I work.
Right. Dear white nation people, stop going to the black church to get vaccinated. Those sites are prioritizing black people. Okay.
All right.
Not racist.
I mean, is it racist to go to that church and be scared now?
Not racist at all.
Who knows?
You're white and Asian people.
Yes. City of Oakland is branded racist for giving families of color $500 a month if they earn $59,000 with no rules on how they spend it, but offering poor white families nothing. You're making just under $60,000 a year. You're probably doing all right unless you're an idiot with your money.
Oh, not in Oakland.
Maybe not. Oh, but dude, Oakland's ghetto. So
but it's still California, and it's just expensive there.
True. And you would probably
because they've ruined it. So
right.
It has to be to maintain the garbage in the streets.
Still, though, it's just absurd, and they keep doing these policies. Yeah, they keep doing these policies, and just exacerbates the problem.
How is this, which is definitively racist, an actual legislation? It is the definition of racism.
Some would call that systemic racism.
Some that's a word that I have heard being thrown around.
So
It's directly from the system.
my question is, so if you're making that kind of money in the Oakland area, which no one goes to Oakland, by the way, no one cares about Oakland.
Not anymore. The Raiders
No.
are in Las Vegas.
Yeah, right. So, what is the amount of money that you need to have to be making it all right? Because the poverty level in the United States is under $30,000 a year, and I've lived at that level before.
So have I. So
yeah,
have I.
and have made it just fine. So
$60,000 a year is in Las Vegas is a decent living.
yeah, okay. Yeah.
Apparently.
Actually, my cousin, I've never been to Vegas, but my cousin actually lives out there. We'll talk after the stream. Maybe you have met him because he does know some people in the industry, in the fighting industry. He's acquaintances with John Jones, so so he knows Rashad Evans, stuff like that. So
Rashad is an amazing human.
Yeah, well, my cousin
Jones is a piece of shit.
Oh shit! Shots fired! Oh!
My cousin has spoken highly of Rashad before. He's never said anything poorly of John, but he's been to many of John's VIP parties and whatever else.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. So, in any case,
absolute piece of monkey shit.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Shots fired on the stream. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
I hope they play it over and over.
We can get into some of that. You don't have to give me too much inside baseball because it is on the internet, and the internet's forever. In any case, Sesame Workshop is talking more explicitly about race and welcoming 2 Black Muppets. And this is the topic. But what if Elmo is just singing along to Elmo's favorite song? Can Elmo say it then? Are we missing the joke?
I was like, wait, what's Elmo's favorite song? Okay.
Are you allowed to say it's the question?
It took me a second.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, Tank never gets them.
I'm stupid as shit.
He is not. He actually has a.
At least you're self-aware.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Racist test. Do you like him any better? White? No, me neither. C. You're not a racist.
You're not a racist.
Thought it was pretty simple. This is actually why I don't like him. Because he's like the Master Blaster or something.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
I have Michelle training memes. Tank, I haven't had any for a few weeks. I just
that's a good one.
You know,
I buy it.
But
I believe it.
Yeah. Speaking of Satanism, did everyone hear about Little Nas's Satan shoes?
I did. Yeah.
Dude.
You're not trying to hide anymore.
Dude, Nas, you lap up that millions and millions of dollars, dude. You live your life.
He's in
have
the
them
club,
hoes.
for sure.
Yeah. Have them drugs, have them funds. Yeah, do your thing, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. All right, guys, we're getting close to rounding out here. It says barbecues face being banned by Green Council over fears they cause global warming.
What the shit?
Yep. Barbecues.
So fire.
Too many carbon. That's right.
We
That's right.
need to ban fire.
Carbon emissions.
Well, how else you gonna cook food without fire? A caveman figured this out.
Oh, you're not. You're gonna be a vegan. Or
the fuck, I'm not.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. However,
eat the bugs, bigots. Eat the bugs.
I don't know. She's on a redemption arc. We'll see what happens.
She's on a redemption arc. What?
Yeah, she started. She's supposedly she is having conversations with Uncle Ted in prison. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, dang, that makes me wish I had the Uncle Ted meme I picked up earlier. That was a video. Anyways, I was there in the psychological war of 2021. on the front lines, furiously posting memes.
That's me, bro. That's what I do.
Doing your part.
Yeah. Is that what you do? Because I'm the one that mines all these memes.
Mimes the memes.
Mines.
Yeah. I want to say mime. Like,
Mime the memes. Go. Okay, mime us the meme.
Yeah. Does anyone want to play what is that? Charades? I was gonna say categories.
Not the same game, bro.
I know. Anyways. The year is 2042. Rachel Levine is the first woman president. There are 92,109 genders. The only small businesses left are black-owned hair salons and drive-through strip clubs. They release Chinese-built Fauci bots to hunt down the last of the unvaccinated. Sex with anyone but transgenders has been outlawed. I am the last super straight white male, and this is my story.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I like that he has a dog.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Isn't it like the Fallout 4 cover or something?
Looks like it. Looks a little bit like I Am Legend as well. But all I appreciate is he has the super straight sign on his back.
Solid look.
Solid look, 100%. Says, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just study the philosophy, psychology, propaganda that's been used to Pied Piper humanity in various forms of servitude for almost 6,000 years now. Actually, it's been probably longer than that. But sure, yes, exactly. I understand human nature to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I pay attention.
Said that Biden was a puppet, and that is true. And I would say that Winnie the Pooh is his master.
Oh, shit.
And that is it. That took us forever. It took us. We started the show like an hour and 40 minutes ago, and it only took us this long to get through memes.
That's it.
But we still got it as long as it's available. So play that outro, man, and we'll talk to kids some more.
All right, so we need to get rid of that, and we're back. And that was a lot of memes. Guys.
It actually was less memes than we normally do, but we kept talking.
All right, so
yeah,
I'm going to talk now because fuck it. Why
you do that? I'm going to take a restroom break. By the way,
okay.
If you need to do that at any point, please just let us know. Do it. Right.
I was really excited when Bill told me you were going to come on, because one of the things I'm interested in hearing from you the most is how you got into Muay Thai at all. Because you were born in what, the late 70s, and then you said, yeah, so you started doing Muay Thai. You said at age 16 earlier. We were talking so we were talking about this earlier. Muay Thai was barely even heard about in the West at this time, right? Yeah, and I mean, even for me, like I think my first interaction with Muay Thai was like Sagat from Street Fighter, and like blood and kickboxer. Yeah. So I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was a pretty like not very well known sport when you got into it. So kind of like, how did you end up in that?
Yeah, I didn't even know what it was. I'd never heard of it at all. I was a long story, somewhat shortened. I'm not good at long story short.
Right.
I used to pass the gym on my way to work every day this one summer. And I was looking for something. So I used to wrestle, and then I would wrestle freestyle and Greco season, through the summer and stuff. And before I started like soccer the next year. So freestyle season was coming to an end, and there was usually a gap there. And I was looking for something to stay in shape for wrestling. And I kept passing this martial arts spot on my way to and from work every day. And I got released from work one day early, and I was like, I'm gonna stop by that place. And so they just had really cool old style drawings on the window, just old Thai stuff. And at the time I didn't know anything about Thailand or anything. And I stopped in and I walked up and I looked in the window, and these people were beating the shit out of each other. And I was like, what is this? This is amazing. This isn't any martial arts I've ever done, you know, because before that, you know, every kid does like Taekwondo.
Right.
And then I did Kenpo for a bunch of years, and then wrestling. Right. And so I saw these people, they're not punching the air. They're not doing katas. They're not hitting, you know, snapping boards or, you know, like I said, just in a line, punching the air and making noise, which is usually what most martial arts classes is. And so I'm like, these people are making contact. They're kicking each other, punching each other. This dude's over there on a heavy bag, wailing. And so I was like, okay, I got to find out what this is about. So I went in and I booked like my trial lesson for me and my girlfriend at the time. And I went in, and Melcher Minor, who's my senior, who's a world champion, phenomenal Thai boxer. He's in San Diego running a gym. I forgot what his gym's called. But I went in and I was in wrestling shape. You know, I was small, obviously, but I was in wrestling shape. I was in great shape. And, you know, I just come off of, you know, winning state, you know, doing decent in nationals. And so like, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. And he just annihilated me. There was nothing I could do. And everything that he did hurt. And I said immediately, I was like, I must have this. I must have this power that you have.
Right.
And so I fell in love immediately. And it just so happened that the only reason that gym was there is because Master Toddy, who was my head guy, had moved to Las Vegas, and crazy Bob Cook was moving out of Las Vegas to California. And so he just bought the school. Like they just, like these people were learning. What does Bob Cook do? The karate or I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah, I believe so.
He's like a karate guy. So like all of his students went from doing karate to doing Muay Thai. You know, they didn't even know what the hell was going on. And so the way that they taught was very traditional, and the culture was part of the sport, and the sport is definitely part of the culture. And so I since I was in love instantly, I just immersed myself in it. I'd skip school to go train, you know, and any time that I could train, I was in that gym. And if I wasn't training, I was watching videos, and I had a notebook. I actually looking for my notebook. I had a notebook, and after every training session, I would write everything down the way I remembered it. And so then if I was, you know, sitting somewhere waiting for something or something like that, I'll bust out my notebook and just study, you know, and remember. And I completely immersed myself in it. And then once I went to Thailand, I went to Thailand my senior year, like I said, second semester, my senior year. And I got to experience it there. That was it. That was the rest of my life. Right. So it was total happenstance, accident. I wasn't looking for Muay Thai. I didn't even know what Muay Thai was. I was just like, I needed something to stay in shape in between wrestling seasons. And I wanted combat sports. Like that would be the best, right? You know, but you can't really, that's hard to find. And so,
yes, so especially at that, you know, in that year, like, at the time we're talking about, I guess like the early 90s or so.
Yeah, that was 94.
You know, like you know, I took martial arts when I was a kid. It was Taekwondo and bullshit like that. I did some Muay Thai and BJJ later, you know, into my late 20s. You know, that was before I ever like really had a place close to my house I could do something like that. So it's a really, you know, it's like your story is it's very weird in that it's just kind of like it was like a once in a lifetime thing for someone at that time.
The stars aligned.
Yeah.
You're also the kid, just from some speeches or lectures or whatever you want to call them that you gave at the Full Spectrum Warrior Camp, the summit. I would think of you as like a dog with a ball. You're that dog that's like, you got something to go after, and you're like, it might be a stick, might be a ball, whatever that thing is, but you're like, I'm going to go get that thing and I'm going to be the best at it. Because I heard you, one of the things you talked to us about was, I think at a lunch break or after a lunch break, where you were talking about how you were a wrestler, you worked hard at that, and then you were just like all in on Muay Thai. And then later on, we had a private conversation where you were talking about how you molded your foot so you could point it forward just to do great teeps, right? So you could do like penetrating teeps.
Yeah.
And so you were putting your feet in like this a cylinder or something, a box.
Yeah. I had to build boxes.
I'll let you explain it.
I definitely modified my body.
It's dedication, folks. Dedication. Hardcore.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
So the first thing was shin conditioning, and that takes 2 years. When you go through the shin conditioning, so it's pretty much sensitive shins for 2 years. Like, and it ranges from they're sore to I would wake up in the middle of the night screaming like, "Oh, what happened?" Because the sheet had fallen off my toes onto the bottom of my shins.
Oh, wow.
They were just that swollen. And you just, every day, you swell them up and you pull the swelling out. And you beat them up and you pull the swelling out. And you just do this over and over and over again in various ways for 2 years. And then you just start to realize, oh, I can't feel anything anymore. And it's not just the deadening of the nerves, but it's also you're creating ossification with all that trauma, right? So all that stress that you're putting on that tibia especially triggers ossification, and you get bone density out of it. Quick tangent. I had gotten in a motorcycle accident, and I doing 65, I T-boned a Cadillac. And I kicked the quarter panel with my right shin hard enough to send me flipping and spinning 40 feet in the air. And I was sure that my shin was broken. It hurt so bad. And we got to they scooped me up and got to the hospital and did an x-ray, and the doctor was like, okay, well, we can't see anything in the x-ray, but I'm pretty sure, that we're looking at a break, could be a spiral fracture or something like that. And I was like, what? And so he's like, we're going to do a bone scan. That'll tell us everything we need to know. So we did a bone scan, and he came back in the room and he said, what do you do? And I go, I don't, I'm a landscaper. At the time, actually, I was an arborist. So I was an arborist.
Oh no.
We lost sound, kid.
Hold on, it'll come back.
No, you're back.
You're back. Yeah.
Somebody tried to call in.
You said you were an arborist, and you
yeah. So I was an arborist. I worked at Davy Tree at the time, climbing palm trees, pretty much. And he goes, no. And I go, I said, I'm a kickboxer. And he goes, and then he goes, oh, a kickboxer. You kick stuff all the time. And he goes, but it's not your foot. And I go, no. We kick with our shins. And he goes, okay. He goes, that's the most dense tibia I've ever seen. He goes, there's no break. I don't know if you can break it. And I was like, that is really
cool.
Good to know.
All right. Awesome. Yeah.
That is great to know. And so I just, for the next 20 years, just swung the shit out of my legs. So that was the first terraforming that I did. Right. And then, because I'm long, and that gives me a really long teep, but you have to point your foot and curl your toes back, right? So you can hit with the front of the palm of your foot. That's the most effective, right? And so I couldn't point my foot and bend my toes. And so I took some MDF and I built little boxes that I could only slide my foot in if it was pointed. And then at the bottom, I would push it in until my toes curled back.
Mm-hmm.
And I would lock that thing on and go to sleep like that. And so it's connected. It was double bad because it's connected to a belt to make sure that my feet stay in, right? So I put my boots on, we call them, and I'd strap them up on the belt like a garter, and I would go to sleep with my feet in my boxes, and every morning wake up about 2, 3 a.m. with my legs just burning because the belt is cutting off the circulation around my waist, and my feet are all stuck in there, cramping up, losing blood supply. And so then I would take off my boxes and, and sleep the rest of the night. But I did that for, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, something like that, so that my feet could do that. So I've just been, another part of the shin conditioning is it kills all the nerves and everything, but it pulls your anterior tibialis around behind your tibia.
Oh.
So it exposes the blade of your tibia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there was a bit of dedication involved in all of that. Oh, and like my wrists don't go back any farther than that. That's it.
Body modification. Yes.
Just from years of this.
Yeah.
And you've had some surgeries too, of course. Injuries.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. I mean, that's the price you pay, though, man. You're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. It's the price you pay.
And you're not
3 ACL replacements, shoulder reconstruction, all the fun stuff. I have like some nice. You can see that thing there.
Oh yeah.
Little horn in my rib. I got that on both sides. This one was from WEC title fight with Rob McCullough, and then this one is from Vanderlei Silva.
Oh.
Yeah, I put him in a triangle and he crushed me.
I would say, man, you're a little bit too small to be moving around with Vanderlei.
Vandy doesn't care. He doesn't care. So I was his Muay Thai coach for a little while when we first opened up the gym here in Las Vegas. So I was
don't get me wrong, like I don't train like you guys, whatever, but I have trained over the years. Like you always train with bigger and smaller guys. For anyone out there who doesn't train, you should know that you're going to train with different sizes.
Yeah.
But my point is, if you're going to go hard, you're generally not going to go hard against a guy like Vanderlei Silva.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But he doesn't care what weight you are. He has an on switch and an off switch. That is it.
Yeah.
That is it. I'll tell you what though, I got really good at moving my feet. Really good at moving my feet.
I bet.
My footwork, I believe that my superior footwork, it is beautiful. I think that came as a combination of trying to save my life getting away from Vandy, and Floyd Mayweather Sr. was my boxing coach, and he gave me some pretty good footwork stuff.
Okay.
And so that's how my footwork got good, by trying to survive getting away from Vanderlei. I mean, and everything so since I'm just trying to survive, I'm getting mine in and I'm moving, and I'm getting mine in and I'm moving. Right? So he can't catch me. So then he gets more frustrated and then he goes harder. Of course. He actually, this is how much he doesn't care how much you weigh. He broke JJ Mix's orbital with sparring gloves. So we're talking big gloves.
Very, very big boxing gloves. Yes.
Broke JJ Mix's orbital while training. JJ Mix is a 145 pounder.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's my weight.
Yeah. He does not care what weight class you are. He, like I said, he's got an on switch and an off switch, and there's nothing in between.
Dude's also an unfortunate tale. I mean, him personally, but I watched that dude, loved him, watched him fight. He's a beast.
But
and the sadness of it was his chin just went out after all the years of beatings, all the sparring, all that. And that's one of the things I like to avoid. And I get it. If you're a professional, it's different, but like, I don't like to go train and get the crap beat out of me. I like to get beat up a bit. Yeah, I like to get beat up a bit, but not the crap. I don't want to have concussions from training.
Yeah.
I like the old Muay Thai, like slow sparring, like flow sparring stuff.
Yeah.
Because
in Thailand we don't even use pads.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And when you're going so hardcore like they were doing back in the day, I was just like, this is so stupid. You know, we talked about brawlers earlier. You mentioned it, just kind of guys going balls to the wall, not having any skills. And I used to say it all the time watching the UFC, not because again, look, guys, like my ground game is crap. Like I can survive, I can handle myself against probably most of you watching. Okay. But once I go against a purple belt, I'm probably done, you know, and that's just me. Like that, I'm not focused on that. But I have been doing stand up for about 30 years, and I'm pretty good. Kit's probably going to kick my butt because he's a world champ.
Professional,
right? Exactly.
It's been my entire life for
right, exactly. But for most people, I'm gonna be all right. And like there is a thing where people go into these gyms, they go into these MMA gyms, and they're all over the place now. They go into jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, whatever, and they get the crap beat out of them, and they're getting more taken away than they're actually gaining from the
Definitely happens. Yeah.
So I kind of, I was kind of thinking that with, you brought up Vanderlei yourself, but I was kind of thinking that with Vanderlei, I don't know the behind the scenes thing, but I know watching him as a fighter all the way back from Pride, which Osis, by the way, mentioned, Commander Osis, one of our regular viewers, back from his Pride days into the UFC, and like he was a killer.
Yo, dude,
you get tapped in
the
your
axe
chin so
murderer
many
was
times,
very
it's gone.
befitting.
Yeah. But you cannot take that much CTE over the years, you know?
Which is weird.
And those dudes were like, so those old shoot box dudes, right? Those guys were, they're having wars in the gym, and then having wars in the ring.
Right.
Yeah. No, that wasn't my style. I don't like.
Right, your journey's not there, man. It's just not,
No, I don't like to get punched in the face. I like how my brain works right now, and I want to keep it working that way. And so that's probably one of the things that made me as good as I was. I was just really good at not getting hit.
And at the same time, someone like professionally, like DJ, right, was really good about not getting hit. And Dana White eventually cut him because the fights weren't exciting enough, and he didn't prep him enough. I don't know behind the scenes, behind the curtain, other stuff. But what's up?
Nobody but real fans, like real fans of not just of the sport, but of the technique. Of real fans appreciate DJ, but the majority of, this is the most watched sport in the United States is NASCAR.
Yeah.
So
I will never understand. I will never understand this. Never.
That we're dealing with. And so, and second to that, WWE. Yeah. So these are the fans. These are the kind of fans we're talking about. So just the 125-pound division, because people don't get knocked out as much. It's much faster. It's much more technical. The appreciation isn't there from the American audience. That's why it's a very popular category in ONE FC.
I wonder too. Right. Yeah, absolutely. And DJ's been amazing over there.
Yeah.
I wonder too, though, like for myself at my weight, I assume I would be fighting in like the 135-ish area, being about 150, having to cut maybe lower.
Yep, that's about right.
Right. So
typically,
I'm a really heavy striker. Like I actually hit really hard for my size. And so I wonder if a lot of that is a training issue over the years, or why those smaller guys, obviously you don't have as much mass, right? There's just physics. Like smaller guys.
Right. But power is, you can get more power through technique
Yes.
than through strength.
Agreed. 1,000%.
You know the game where it's got the little speed bag and you hit it and the little gear goes up.
Right,
and
right,
like
right.
I have never, ever, ever not gotten the high score on one of those machines. Ever.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a little guy. I'm 161 pounds today. I'm a little dude, but it's all technique. Power is technique.
You also have long leverage, though, compared to someone like me. Not to make a big deal about that.
I do, but it's the knowing how to use that.
Yeah,
Right?
no, I
The
1,000%
technique
agree.
of knowing how to use that. Yeah.
This was one of the things. So, Greg Mahovich or Mihovich is, so I've known Greg for some odd years, but this is one of the things I really picked up from doing Russian martial arts was, no, there's a lot of BS. There's a lot of BS in any martial art, like depending on if you get the right teacher or not. But is that they were breaking down things on a mechanical level, at least what I was studying, in a way that just enhanced my power so much more than any amount of lifting.
The coaching. That's just good coaching. That's good coaching.
Right.
Is what that is.
Yeah. So we did have two questions in the chat about so Osis asked something about earlier. I told him I would get to it. I know you do a lot of firearms training, Kit.
I do.
Yeah, and he says what is your primary? I guess your EDC, I would assume. He says if you couldn't use an AR, what would you run?
Oh,
so
okay. All right. So my EDC is it's actually, I mean, I have a couple, but the one that I use most often is it's an M&P 2.0, just a full size 9mm, but it's an agency M&P 2.0 because there's not a better trigger in the world. It's amazing.
I run an M&P Shield as my EDC. Yeah. It's a single stack, but it's second gen and great trigger. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, dude, the 2.0, right? It's a full size, right? But it's a double stack, but it's still thin enough because I'm a little dude. It's still thin enough that I can carry concealed. But it's not just that it's really my holster that allows me to carry a full size concealed. I run a tier 1 concealed Aegis holster. Before I had that holster, I had to have a little gun. I had to have a 43 or something like that because I'm just skinny and it sticks out. But once I got that tier 1 concealed holster, with the sidecar, it's got with the magazine right here. That thing enabled me to actually carry a full size gun, so I can hit the streets with 15 rounds instead. Really with 30 rounds.
That's literally why I carry the M&P Shield and mine's a 40, but it's because like a single stack sits next to my body and I'm so small with a 32, 33 inch waist.
Yep.
I'm like 5'6", 5'7" 150 pounds. I don't have a lot of area to cover.
Yeah.
And it's like I print easy, man. I can't wear a t-shirt unless it's super baggy.
It's all holster, man.
Yeah.
It is all about that holster.
Yeah. Well, I use a Q series holster
to get a good holster.
Yeah, I use a Q series holster, which is minimalistic, and I've run it different ways, whether either a loop, so I could just do like a retention draw, or directly with the clip. I played a couple different ways with it. Right now, I'm running the clip, but
like an ulti clip.
I don't have enough real estate on my body to carry stuff. It's the bottom line, and I've been doing this for 20 years professionally. I don't do it anymore, but I'm just saying, like, carrying crap on my body, it's different when you're around your buddies who are you're 6 footish, but I'm just saying, like, the 6 footers that are toward the 200 pounds.
Yeah, they can carry everything. A Glock 17 and be fine.
Right.
So we had another question.
But by the way, if I couldn't carry an AR, I would carry a nice AK.
Okay, yeah. We had another question on what's your stance on doing Muay Thai over boxing?
Muay Thai.
What's my stance on it?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm assuming this is like for someone who's just getting into something.
Yeah. Why do this one versus that one?
Yeah.
I will say that the first answer, first and foremost, is I will beat the shit out of any boxer. Any boxer.
Yeah.
6
I don't
months of
care
Muay
what weight
Thai.
class you are.
6 months of Muay Thai will make you a decently competent fighter against your average Joe.
Yeah.
The end.
Here's just the easiest answer is boxers can't kick me. And my leg is 1.5 times the length of your arm.
Mhm.
So I mean, you have to worry about your calf and your leg and your body and your arms because I'm hitting you with a baseball bat, not a padded hand, right? So I have just way more options.
Yeah. So when
I have head and gut, that's it.
When I first did Muay Thai, you know, I knew I figured out a little bit about. I was like probably 25 or something before I even did it. But I knew there's like leg kicks and stuff. It's like whatever, you kick the legs, not a big deal. You don't realize how quick your entire world goes to shit after you eat 2 or 3 leg kicks. Like you can't comprehend because you see martial arts, see people fight on TV and they get chin punch, you get knocked out. Bro, a leg kick will end your whole day. Like
Dude,
it's
your
it.
soul drains out of that where you got kicked. Just slowly drains out.
Yeah.
I took leg kicks in one fight ever. I was trading leg kicks for right hands, and I was landing the right hands. The problem is he would shake off those cobwebs, and every kick would get worse over time.
Yeah.
The kick that you take in the first round is 10 kicks in the third round.
Yeah.
It just gets worse for the next 2 weeks, basically.
So another question that the Boo's asking is if he's getting into Muay Thai, like what's some snake oil things he should watch out for? Like, I guess this means like what you want out of a gym, or how you can tell if a gym's bullshit or not.
I will tell you this. Kit is a guy to ask this. I know, Kit, obviously, who you are or whatever. I knew you were going to teach us right, but there are so many guys. It's a huge pet peeve of mine. There's so many guys that teach the Thai clench, right? And they teach it wrong on the neck instead of on the occipital lobe of the back of the head.
Yeah.
And it's a huge pet peeve of mine, and it's everywhere. It literally, you go to almost any school anywhere, and they're gonna grab the back of the neck. Yep. And it's like that's not how you do the technique.
Same with throwing your hand behind your butt when you kick.
Yeah, right. So
instead of Thailand,
shooting
they
across,
call that
right.
Yeah, they call that California Muay Thai.
Okay.
That's what they call it in Thailand.
Mm-hmm. So I call that waving my farts off is what I call that.
What am I protecting back there?
Yeah.
So I would say the best thing to do is to check the lineage.
Right.
Check the lineage, because we can do that now. We couldn't. You couldn't do that before, but now you can see. Okay, well, who is his teacher, and who was that guy's teacher? Where did they come from? So the problem with Muay Thai right now, there's a couple problems with Muay Thai right now. One of the problems is because it's gaining in popularity, you're getting more unqualified people teaching. And so what's happening is like these guys that were like Taekwondo guys or karate guys or whatever, then they're going, okay, well, we're kicking people in the leg now and we're throwing knees. So this is Muay Thai.
Right.
We're doing Muay Thai. I would say you want traditional. You want traditional as much as you can get traditional. You want that traditional. Not like this is what do they call it? Muay. They'll call it like Muay Thai striking, or something like that. There's a bunch of snake oil to be had out there. Here's my best suggestion. Hit me up on Instagram at KitCope and tell me where you live. Because people do this weekly. I'm finding gyms for people like weekly. So, I'll get an email or a message. It's like, hey, I live in Atlanta. Where's a good place to train Muay Thai? So hit me up on Instagram again at Kit Cope. It's right down. Wait, there.
Is it down there?
Yeah.
I know I link stuff, Kit, but just
yeah. No, my
your
name.
Instagram is there, and
No,
your
just my name.
brand.
Okay. Oh, so at Kid Cope at Instagram. Okay.
Yeah, just my name, just at Kit Cope, and
It's in
and say,
the description.
hey, this is me, and I'm over here in Podunkville. How do I find where's a good place to train Muay Thai? And I'll find you a good place, because I know people all over the world training Muay Thai, and so I'll be able to tell you if there's a decent place.
Let me square that up for everybody out there listening or who may watch in the future. Kit is a legit trainer. He's a legit 4-time Muay Thai champ in Thailand. He's also won numerous Lethway matches as well.
Well, Muay Thai chip, but it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Well, we can get into that. I actually kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit, just because a lot of people aren't aware, and I actually wasn't fully aware too. You were telling me about this, but you have been a personal trainer for some odd years. You train UFC fighters today. I kind of wanted to mention something earlier when you were talking about Diego Sanchez. I would assume Diego, or you've met him or trained with him at some point. Exactly. And everything you've said, though, just being a fan on the other side who's actually trained martial arts as well, I would kind of agree with you. What's your assessment of what you were saying about Diego and the name changes? I mean, I love Diego back in the day.
Oh, me too. Yeah. He's a character and a half.
Yeah, I mean, dude has been up and down. And you know what? I did see that he was getting into Lethway here recently. I heard at least. Yeah. I don't know. I heard. I know you're in the sphere, so you would probably hear legitimate stuff. In any case, but Kit is no joke, as legit as it comes, as far as that world of professional fighting. And guys, it's a small world. Honestly, one of the things is, if you go out in your life and you want to make your life different and you want to go pursue training or do whatever, it will not take you long. I promise you, to go to a few seminars or do whatever, to run into these people and to run into people who are making, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars a year from this field of professional fighting, training, all the things out from that. And it just takes a discerning mind and someone who's not going to go down to your local McDojo. And here's another thing. I mentioned it earlier, my old Sifu. And again, I'm not like trying to create stories or anything. Like, I have numerous friends, and I actually have friends who are who have been Muay Thai instructors, trained in Muay Thai and whatever else. Buddy mine lives out in California. In any case, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I know people, whatever, because I go and explore the world and I meet random people and whatever else. It's not because I'm super connected or I'm besties with anybody, but I guarantee you can do this same thing. Yeah. You can get out into that world. It's not that hard to penetrate. It really isn't. And so, like, when I met you, I had no idea who you were. And then, like, after we talked for like 2 hours or something, just kind of chilling, a little bit of downtime, whatever it was. And all of a sudden it was like after lunch, you're like, oh, this is like 4-time world Muay Thai champion, Kit Cope. And I was like, dude, you kind of failed to mention that to me when we were BSing. And I get it. I totally get it. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm this guy that had these accomplishments too. No one comes off into a conversation and
let me give you my stats.
Yeah. I'm a Medal of Honor winner and blah, 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 blah. I'm not, by the way. I'm just saying,
another thing I want to talk about is what it's like being a what is it, Muay Farang, and because I've heard that Thailand doesn't really like white dudes coming there and whooping their ass. So was that an issue?
That's the exact opposite.
Oh, really? Okay.
The exact opposite. So basically what it is, they're skeptical, of course.
Okay.
They're skeptical because 99.9% of the white people that come over there just get their asses handed to them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right. Oh yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're playing soccer against Brazilians. You know.
Okay. I see.
You're
Yeah.
playing, You're doing math against Albert Einstein. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like these people have been doing this for thousands of years. I guess Albert Einstein wasn't doing it for thousands of years. However, so yeah, this is it. It's not like it is here. Muay Thai there is baseball, basketball, football combined.
Okay.
There's fights every day. It's on TV all day, every day. It's in their culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you go there, obviously they're really good at it then. And so by the time I started fighting there, I was like I said, I was looked at skeptically, when I went to camp, and then this guy tests you out a little bit and that guy tests you out a little bit, and then after a while, then they see, oh, okay, he's good, but just because he's good doesn't mean that he's a fighter.
Right.
And so then they wait for a few weeks to see if you can embrace the suck, because you wake up at 8 and you've got your running shoes on before your eyes are open. You take off for your 5K, 6K run, come back, train for 2.5 hours, then have breakfast, take a shower, do your laundry. Then you do it all again at 3 p.m. And you live that way. My room, the room that I stayed in at the main camp where I trained is it's a 8-foot by 8-foot space with a bunk bed and a locker and a hole for a window, but no window in the hole, and a hole for the door, but no door in the hole. And my bed doesn't have blankets and shit. It's got a fan at your feet that keep the mosquitoes off at night. Mm-hmm. And you live like that. They call it living like a fighter. Right. And so, even the white guys that can fight, or that have skills, well, they can't make it through at camp, not really, and so, once they see that you stick it out and you do everything they do and you're keeping up, and you're as good as they are and that kind of thing, then I started getting, then you're like a secret weapon of the camp. Okay. Yeah. Then you're like a secret weapon of the camp. They're like, oh, we got a white guy. we got a white guy, and you think he's going to be like a regular white guy, right? And he's carrying our camp name. Right. And so, then, when I started fighting, like more stadium fights and stuff, then at first, like I said, you go out there and they just expect you to be, like all the other foreigners, parang. Right. And then you start beating good people. Now there are individuals there that keep up with what's going on in the camps, because betting is a massive thing there. Right. And so there are people, by the time you get to the stadiums to fight, there are people that are like, oh, this is that guy from Jockey Gym, like that I've been hearing about. Like there is gossip that goes around, because it's a very small community, even though there are thousands of camps. Like there are people whose job it is to know what's going on at these camps. And so, so you can actually get decent gambling money when you fight, because what you'll get the shot. They'll be like, you look at your coach, and your coach will be like, hey, you got the shot. And that basically means like, hey, there's a guy that's betting. If you win, he's going to break you off a piece. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. There's no such thing as the other way. Would never happen in Thailand. Nobody's taking a dive in Thailand. Right. It would be disgraceful. That happens in Japan. Right? They have work fights in Japan all the time. Would not happen in Thailand. there was in like 1980 something, there was a referee that people thought had, who knows, but people thought had misjudged a fight, misrefereed a fight, and he didn't make it home that night.
Oh God. Yeah.
It's a sacred thing. It is a sacred thing there. But once you start winning, and people are like, oh, okay, he's for real. He's not a tourist. He's for real. He's that, and speaking Thai helps, of course, also. But that you're kind of a bigger hero. Being a white guy. I got a lot of love.
Well, that's good to hear. Because one of the more interesting things about your whole story for me, I love to travel, and I've been to China. I've been to various central. I love getting out in different cultures. And Thailand is, Muay Thai, but Thailand itself is such an exotic place for us Westerners that it's not like learning boxing and going. You might box in Mexico or you might box in England, but you're not really the kind of lifestyle you're talking about and taking on this cultural burden. Not necessarily burden, but this cultural experience. That's really interesting. Like you're talking about how you had to live like a fighter, and that a lot of white guys aren't cut out for it. And that's really interesting.
Dude, you just see the difference with Westerners in general. I think it was recently, a year or so ago. What I think, off the top of my head, I'm thinking Khalil Roundtree was not doing so great. Went and trained in Thailand, came back and was a killer overnight, seemingly.
Yeah.
Obviously not overnight because he was there training, but right.
Yeah. And it's not just that you can only get that kind of training there.
Yes.
It's that when you go there, that's all you're doing. That's your whole life. You're not worrying about, going to work and doing this and, dealing with your regular life shit. You just train.
And there's a similar kind of thing in the Philippines too, with like Kali and Eskrima and the various, stick knife arts. But it's that sort of, Southeast Asian martial art influence, I think. Mindset. Yeah.
In Thailand, it's definitely a very large part of the culture.
Yeah.
I would say secondary to that would be Japan. Because Japan still to this day, they still, the basis of their moral stance is Bushido culture. Like they're still all about Bushido culture. And so like their programming, like their TV shows, cartoons, movies, stuff like that, it all supports their, warrior culture. And so in Japan, you're actually, if you're a fighter, you're actually an elevated citizen. It's like the regular people, fighters, and then like aristocracy.
Right.
Yeah, you're like, they won't let you carry your bag. You're taken care of very well in Japan.
Yeah, so guys for sure.
It's definitely a part of their culture, but it's just combat fighting,
right?
In general. Whether it's boxing, kickboxing, shoot boxing, MMA, they've got tons and tons of giant fighting events over there, and it just has to be fighting,
right?
Versus where Muay Thai is rooted in their culture as Muay Thai,
right? Yeah, when I was in China in 2015, and they actually was a Chinese. It looked more or less like Muay Thai. They had the shorts on. There wasn't doing any like clinching, any grappling, but they had like more or less the same kind of Muay Thai style. And you kind of see they're going for that aesthetic. And I was talking to a Chinese friend. We was in a hotel room. I was watching it, and I was like, "Oh, this is weird. Like you guys have Muay Thai," and he was explaining how, to make a long story short, Chinese culture has kind of sniffed their own farts in terms of martial arts, and with like Bruce Lee, and then like it's kind of coming around that like a lot of that shit isn't like Tai Chi's huge over there. And you'll talk to a random Chinese person, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I do martial arts Tai Chi," and they have no idea that like that's not a thing, And But and so he's like, yeah, this is kind of like finally like breaking through, and we're seeing some real like full contact, more or less, you know, kind of stuff. So it's weird that it's such a huge thing in Thailand and even Japan, but for some reason, like a lot of the other Eastern Asian cultures aren't like picking up on it as much.
Well, one thing to that, Tank, is, and you could correct me on pronunciations, whatever, because obviously you speak the Koof language. But you know, wushu is martial arts, but the gung fu is learned skill. And so for the Asian mindset, particularly the Chinese mindset, right? Asia, China and Japan and Korea a little bit. Southeast Asia gets a little bit different, but they still have some similar mindsets. But for them, the gung fu is learned skill. Anything that you are practicing, that you're mastering, is some sort of very skillful art. And it kind of carries over into Japanese culture a lot, but it isn't necessarily practical.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. I mean, just Muay Thai is like, no. We're gonna, We're gonna.
So the thing is, like, Thailand is we'll start with Thailand is the only Asian country that has never been colonized by a Western power. Right. So they have a fighting that it's ingrained. Right. And so, but they've been attacked for years by Burma, by Laos, by Cambodia, you know, by China, and Muay Thai or Muay Boran or Hachiuk or whichever variation you want to talk about was how they defended their country. You know, so this was a fighting art for practical usage, right? And it's for fighting all of the oncomers from different places that have different styles of fighting and that kind of thing. Kung Fu, Wing Chun, great for fighting Kung Fu and Wing Chun.
Exactly.
Yeah. But outside of that, you're going to get kind of messed up. If I'm not following the same rules that you are, you're going to kind of get messed up.
And that's kind of why, to some degree, Western boxing ended up being a form of superiority or wrestling, right? Because the same thing is the practicality. The problem with the Western wrestling arts is it forgot its submissions or breaks or whatever. Like, I kind of come from a little bit of the old school jiu-jitsu background, like the samurai tradition, where you don't necessarily hold somebody, you just break it, you know?
Okay, so wrestling comes from a completely different place.
Right. No, I know. I understand. Yeah. I mean, you can explain that. I'm just saying that, like, there are these different perspectives over time, and certain martial arts are more combative than others, or more practical than others. And in China, I think that most martial arts have some sort of truth in them. It's the way you practice them in the end. Yeah.
You know,
practical you make them. You know,
if Wing Chun had a full contact competitive scene and enough time to evolve in that scene, it might be all right.
Well, you might not have 50 different blocks. I mean, I trained within the system for 5 years. I mean, and I was doing other stuff as well. And literally there's like 50 different blocks you can do. And it's like, man, it's a little much when I can just shield up, or I can roll off something, bob and weave, dodge it, that kind of thing, you know. It's just not practical because everything's here and they never deal with the clinch. They just don't, Wing Chun has no answer to a clinch or a
takedown or
right.
Yeah. So wrestling has always been a demonstrative art form. So, and the goal is, so I go back and forth as to which one is the first the first sport ever, right? It would either be the foot race or wrestling.
Right.
Right. So the demonstration is, what is the ultimate power one man can have over another man? And that is make you do something that you don't want to do.
Right.
Right. I can force you into a vulnerable position against your will. And so that's why taking somebody, turning them over, putting them on their back, belly up, that is the most vulnerable that you can pretty much be to the world.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why in wrestling, I am forcing another man into a vulnerable position that he is fighting against. And me being able to do that demonstrates my domination over this other man. Right. And so it's demonstrative. Right. And it's supposed to, just like all other fighting, it's supposed to, or sport fighting, it's supposed to basically demonstrate the outcome of what would happen in the world if you and me met in the jungle and only one of us is eating.
Right.
Right. So instead of killing people, we use this demonstration of how it would work out.
Yeah, no, and it's really weird looking back now because you see a lot of these. Well, I guess you still kind of see them, but you used to see a lot of these martial arts theoretical arguments. Like, our guys on the internet, like, Wayne Chun. Well, and that's kind of what MMA started out as, like, this style versus this style, but and then obviously
it out now.
a handful of styles kind of won out, so it kind of become redundant after that point. But I mean, you still kind of see that, and you get a lot of guys that they train to Wing Chun or something, for how many every years. And then they don't like the idea that some guy who trained Muay Thai for a year can come in and just wreck house. So it becomes this whole like, oh, well, Wing Chun's actually way too deadly for any non-lethal combats and whatever. And like I said, like a lot of these guys that do Wing Chun, if they put like a sports scenario and have enough time involved, it might be all right. Like I mean, I'm not kicking anyone's ass, so I'm not here to speak up. But
there's a bald guy, like a monk, right? And he wears the monk get up and the whole thing. And he's espousing the what are those monks?
Shaolin,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he's espousing the whole Shaolin monk thing, and he fights professionally. He doesn't fight often, but he does fight. He fights in Muay Thai. He fights in Sanshu. Which is basically Muay Thai with takedowns and throws. Shoot boxing, which is pretty much the same thing in Japan. And he does well. It's like impossible to hurt the guy. Like he's fucking solid. You can't hurt the guy. But he's not doing Wing Chun.
Yeah.
Like he's pretty much freestyling it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He has trained his body and he's ornery. Like that's pretty much what it comes down to. He's not using really any real style or mode. He's just kind of freestyling it. And he's really tough.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, as someone, and I haven't done it in years, don't get me wrong, but there are certain things ingrained still. You do things over and over again. There are things you pick up. There are things that you do in sparring when you train in certain systems that eventually just work their way in. And Wing Chun on its own isn't necessarily the best system ever. I would say most likely, like most martial arts, it got watered down over time as well. But what it provided for me was a system of principles, which I wasn't learning from anyone else. Now, don't get me wrong. I was doing a very specific system of Wing Chun under Randy Williams, who was a student of Augustine Fong, and that gets into the politics of these things. Augustine Fong doesn't even acknowledge anymore that he ever trained Randy. You know, that gets into all that martial arts.
Soap opera.
Right.
Yeah.
But for me, I wouldn't sit there and tell anyone, oh no, Wing Chun's the thing. In fact, I've had guys that trained under the same Sifu that I never met, that I met later on. In fact, some of them I met in jail as I was working as a correctional officer, and they'd be like, "Oh, you train with Wayne? Oh, you know Wayne's son, and all this other stuff," and I'd be like, "Yeah, cool." And but Wing Chun's the thing, and I'm like, "No, dude, like, no." It's like, there's good stuff there. Like I will tell you, like principle.
Sure, there's good stuff everywhere.
Right, center line principle. Don't violate your gates. Like when I want to block something, I don't want to block over here. I don't want to block out there. I want to maintain my gates. Right.
Yeah.
I want my.
I steal stuff from all kinds of
mats
all the time.
Right. 45 degrees is a magic number. The 45-degree angle is the cutting angle. Got that from Wing Chun, but I see it all over the place. I've learned the similar and the same things in Russian martial arts. And don't get me wrong, like I've done a variety of things. I'm not that guy that's like, let me go to the McDojo and learn it doesn't make any sense. I got to have some sort of practicality. I got to see how these skills unfold. And look, my pursuits haven't always been correct. You know, I've had to correct course. But Muay Thai is something, at least, again, I would say for anyone, basic self-defense, 6 months, a year, 2 years, you do that, man. You're good. Yeah. You're going to be solid.
Yeah. Because it's physical as well.
Yeah.
You're not just learning technique.
Yes.
You're not just learning technique. You're doing work. You're sharpening your body. You're getting in shape. Because it's a sport. It's a sport as well.
Yes.
And so you are doing sports. You got to be in shape to do sports. Actual sports.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Speaking of which, someone, I don't know if she's still watching, but Bunny, one of her commenters, one of my regular female viewers, was asking about basic stuff to just get in the shape. And now she's kind of an older lady. I believe she's, Bunny, I don't want to guess at your age right now off the top of my head. I think
21.
I think you've told me you're in your 50s.
She's 21.
She's 21.
21.
And that's an ancient day.
21.
That's right. In any case, but what do you normally recommend just for anyone to start getting into shape and then maybe a little bit combat prepared? Because I could give my advice, but again, man, you're training with professionals.
As far as getting into shape, just without getting scientific and because there's a lot of different bodies out there,
right?
And I will say this: if I want to get down to my lowest acceptable weight, I want to lean down more. Bag work. It's like a cheat code is what it is.
Okay.
First of all, it's not boring. It's not like picking up shit and putting it back down or, running or so. I hate running. But
Me too, man. And I'm 1,000%
still do it.
I'm a guy that's run 12-mile runs and whatever else in the military. Yeah, I hate it.
I do it. I just hate it.
Yeah.
But bag work is, like I said, it's fun. You don't really realize how much work you're doing. You're going to get tired, and that kind of thing. But you're going to sweat. You're going to get your workout. But it doesn't feel like so much of a workout. And what you're doing is you're basically lifting really heavy weights over and over and over and over again really fast. So every time you kick, punch, knee, elbow the bag, it's actually called impactual resistance. And so it's basically like when your muscles flex to hit the bag, it's the same thing as lifting really heavy weight really fast.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting a resistance workout as well as a cardiovascular and cardiorespiratory workout, right? You could see aerobic, muscle contraction levels for sure during that time. You just get very lean, very fast, without getting bored.
Well, random question based off that question. What kind of bag do you recommend? I obviously know that banana bags, the long tie bag is kind of like the bag that everyone likes in the Thai world because you can leg kick, you can
kick the leg, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You just have all the options. Yeah.
Exactly. But for the average person who's not wanting to invest to that size, weight, that kind of stuff, starting off maybe, what would you recommend?
Well, I don't like the I like Boss's system, the Boss Rudin, the punchy thing with all the arms and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that's super cool. Like, I love playing with that thing. It's a ton of fun and everything. You're not getting the same resistance. You need that resistance. You need for you to try to put your hand through the bag, and the bag and science come back and they're like, no, that's what you need. You need that over and over again.
Right.
And so to get the same thing, you need that kind of resistance. So the Boss thing doesn't work. The Bob, Bob, what a Bob is?
Yeah, the art. Yeah.
My buddy has one, and every weekend I go to watch UFC fights. I beat the crap out of Bob.
Yeah,
and I'm like, man,
fun. He's tons of fun to beat up.
Yeah, I can put a ton of power into Bob.
Yeah, it's tons of fun to beat up, but you're not getting the resistance.
Exactly.
Resistance. You really need a heavy bag.
We have another question here on what's your view on fight training to pack on muscle?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no.
This is what I thought was going to be the answer to this question. Because I remember when I was training relatively recently, not relatively often. It's not been recent. I'm a skinny dude already. I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's hard to keep on weight if you're really fight training.
I don't know. How do you feel about so we know me and Bill talk about Pavel Tsatsouline and kettlebell workouts.
Well, I was an instructor back in the day in 2005, so yeah.
So we've heard about I've heard about kettlebells as a supplement to your fight training.
Just anything. Just really, you need to throw weight around with the least amount of stability possible.
Okay.
Without hurting yourself.
Right.
But Kit, with that, you do have a degree, right? You have a master's degree in kinesiology or something like that, or
exercise phys, emphasis in human sport performance.
Okay. But with that, I'm not trying to put words into your mouth. You tend to focus and train people in Muay Thai, right?
No, I mean, my clients are really all across the board.
Oh, okay.
I'm just general fitness, and I'll incorporate Muay Thai because it's a great workout. But
no doubt.
I would say most of my clients are doing Muay Thai or MMA because most of them are fighters.
Right. So I think that's all I was going to get at. Not that you're not capable or anything, but your focus is all I was saying, versus someone who's like, I don't know. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, off name in the fighting game. You would know far better than I, but certain very specific strength and conditioning coaches for the fighting game. There are guys that just do that. Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, there are the gym that I train at right now. It's called Overcome here in Las Vegas. It's me and the Vanderlei Silva's old conditioning coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's just a straight up conditioning coach. He doesn't know any jiu-jitsu or anything. He is a 100% fight conditioning guy.
That makes me wonder. Was Vanderlei just naturally thick, or did that happen with the fight conditioning coach? Is the question.
I'm going to whatever. Everybody knows. That's steroids.
Oh, you mean the drugs?
Yeah, that's supplements.
Yeah.
Supplements and diet and all the fun stuff.
Well, we're not going to be like on the MMA world or anything, brother. So you say what you want. I don't know if anyone's going to find our obscure little podcast and be like, Kit Cope said that Vanderlei Silva did steroids.
Everybody
like that
knows
wasn't
already
a big deal.
Yeah, everybody knows
forever.
So just I know it's really off topic, but as far as like the Thai people, is steroids a issue in like Muay Thai over there?
No, not at all. Not even thing. Everybody's trying to be smaller.
I guess that's true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess when you're doing a sport, like Thailand, like dudes are doing professional have like 4,000 fights, under their belt or whatever. I guess when you're that experienced, it's less about like just being jacked or whatever.
Yeah. It's not just about being strong, right? But also, one thing that anabolics do for you is they allow you to recover. That's kind of the main thing. Right. You can train at 100% today and then recover so you can train at 100% tomorrow. That's kind of the main shtick for anabolics and androgenics. These guys in Thailand, they've been overtraining for their entire lives.
Right.
Their whole life is soreness and pain, and it's just part of the deal.
Yeah. It's a really, I mean, from the outside looking in, it looks like a very tough society. Their national sport is this super hardcore,
I'll tell you what though.
Tougher.
I'll tell you what, they're the nicest people. I've been to 63 countries. 63. Next week I get to make it 65. But 63 countries. They are the nicest people on the planet. In a general sense. They're very welcoming. When you speak, I've tried to speak different languages in different countries, and like usually they'll make fun of you, or talk shit behind your back kind of thing, or like no, just English. That's what French people do. No.
Yeah.
We'll speak English. You're murdering my language. We'll speak English. Right? In Thailand, you're gonna mess it up. You're gonna screw it up because it's tonal. It's the third hardest language to learn in the world. And you're gonna mess it up because you can say the same thing with a different tone and it means something entirely different.
Yeah, I speak some Mandarin and it's the same way.
It's the same, yeah.
Yeah.
5 tones.
There's 5. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, Mandarin only has 4, so that's
and so and they have sounds.
Things like that extra tone will get you.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm telling you, like something like Vietnamese or something has like more tones than just Mandarin, or even Cantonese has more tones than Mandarin.
They have.
Like, you think you I figured out tone. No, you don't when you go into different tones.
You have to speak with an accent. You must speak with an accent. Otherwise, you're not saying the right words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah,
oh man.
They have sounds that we don't make.
Yeah.
Like just sounds that we don't make with our mouths. It takes a little bit to get used to.
And you're fluent. You're fluent in Thai, right?
If you conversational.
Conversational. Okay.
But as soon as you try to speak, their eyes light up, and they're like, "Oh, you love Thailand.
Yeah.
You love our people. Oh, you're my brother now. That's it."
Great, man. That's all.
It's awesome. It's funny. So when I was in China, or just talking to Chinese people, especially talking to Chinese people in America, like if I recognize someone's Chinese and they're speaking Mandarin, I'll often come try to practice. Yeah. So I'll speak Mandarin, and then they never answer me in Mandarin. They go, "Oh, your Chinese is so good. Your pronunciation is so good." I'm like, then why didn't you say it in Chinese?
There's a YouTuber that does this who speaks numerous
he's
dialects.
really good. Yeah,
numerous dialects of Chinese.
Yeah, he speaks oh man, I
What's
forget
his
which
name,
one it is.
Hank? Because I don't remember his name.
I don't remember. But he's a guy in New York, and he goes to Chinatown and just absolutely and like he'll people speak. Yeah. So I don't know if it's the same in Thailand, but in China, so you have Mandarin, which the word for Mandarin in Chinese is putonghua, and it means ordinary dialects, like speaking common. If you play D&D or and then each province has its own dialects, like Hubei, Wuhan. All these different places have their own dialects, and a lot of times they're unintelligible. So like the fact that is so like someone that speaks like, I don't know, Fuxian or whatever. If all he spoke was Fuxian and someone spoke Mandarin, they wouldn't know what the fuck was being said. Even though it's written the same. So this kid that goes to Chinatown who speaks Mandarin, but he speaks like 2 or 3 other different dialects. And so he'll someone say something like a word in a different dialect, and he'll start speaking that dialect, and it just blows their mind. I mean, he's really, really good.
I'm pretty sure that same guy though has been in China several times. I've watched videos where he's gone over there to markets and everything, and same thing, gotten haggles just because he can speak the language.
So that's pretty funny because I speak Isan, which is the northeastern like hill tribes, pretty much.
Right.
Of Thailand. So it's like, so they'll also call it Lao. Right, because Laos kind of speaks that same region right there up there on the border, and it's a little bit different than Kung Tep, which is the southern, which Kung Tep also means it's the shortened version of the long name of Bangkok. It's Kung Tep. It's the longest name of a city in the world.
Wow.
And so they just Bangkok. It's Bangkok. That's what we call it. I don't why they chose that one. I don't know. But,
I love that. I love that like old history, like pomp and circumstance kind of stuff. Yeah.
Back when the world was just ridiculous. Yeah. In a totally different way.
Let's say it's not ridiculous now.
In a totally different way.
We're human beings, man. We're always ridiculous. This is how it goes.
Even if a white person does speak Thai, and just no white people do, it's just why?
Right.
So even if you do, you would speak the language of the South, where the beaches are, where Bangkok is, where all the tourists go. You wouldn't speak the language of the Northeast, where all of the good fighters come from.
Okay.
And the only reason why I speak that dialect is because all my trainers were Isan. They were all from the Northeast. And so when I start, the only time I really ever get to practice is like at a restaurant, of course. And so they'll say, like, sometimes I'll just play with them and they'll say like, oh, hey, was your food good? And I'll say in Isan, yes, it was delicious, which is a different word from Kung Tep.
Right.
And so then they'll stop and they'll look and they'll go, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, do you speak Isan? Because that's crazy. Why would you speak Isan? There is nothing going on up there.
Yeah, that's I actually had a guy I knew that I went to college with. He went to China to study abroad after we did our Chinese classes. I only took like 3 semesters, but he went out to Harbin, which is above North Korea, and Harbin has it Donghua. I'm probably not pronouncing that, but they have their own dialect up there. And he was up there so long that he figured out Dongbei, and he figured out how to. He's like he speaks Mandarin and Dongbei from being up there for so long. So like if he is here in the United States and he hears some people from specifically Harbin, speaking Dongbei, then he'll chime up and be like start speaking Dongbei at these guys. And they're like, what? Like, no, there's no reason why this white dude should know this particular dialect. It's cool. It's a really cool thing. And I'm glad people are out there doing that.
It's a fun little toy. It's a fun little toy to play with. Languages.
Well, it goes to show you humanity too, and how accepting folks are. If you want to learn about their culture, most folks will tell you like what their life is and whatever else. And it's an unfortunate thing that here in the U.S. we've gone backwards, where we want a police culture and everything else, and we want a monoculture. I mean, Yeah, it's bad. It's not good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and that's unfortunate because, like, you know, especially like this sphere, you know, I guess more like right wing, if you want to call it that or whatever.
We're
You
not
get a lot.
lefties. That's the if you're not left, you're definitely right. That's the way it goes.
But you do.
As Don the Pleb, our friend Don the Pleb says, everyone right of Mao is right wing. You know,
so Deng Xiaoping, we get a lot of people in this sphere, I guess, that you know, they're very much like, you know, Western culture is the best and all this. And I think if someone has been to a lot of different countries, probably agree that there's a lot of countries out there that have a lot to teach us. Yeah, you know. Yeah, so you know, like I went to Nicaragua last year, and you know, just for my bachelor party, and that, you know, just being in Nicaragua, and it's a very poor country. It's, you know, third world shithole or whatever you want to call it. But I'm like, nobody down here is on SSRIs. Everyone's having a good time. There's family, there's community. A lot of shit that we've lost. Yeah. That these countries that we call, like, you know, backwater shitholes or whatever, they haven't lost. So I mean, there's something to be gained there, I feel like.
Oh yeah. We have this thing of progressivism, right? If we're not progressing, but the thing is that sometimes
progressing to what?
So if I'm learning how to make a cake, and I'm figuring out how to make a cake, and I take a cup of sugar, and I take 5 cups of flour, and I take some of this and some of that, and I put it in there, and it tastes like shit. And I keep going and I keep going. And then I realize, okay, it's this much of this and this much of that. And I make a good cake. That's my fucking recipe.
Right.
That's the recipe. I don't have to progress farther than that. I don't have to change that. I found it. It's good. It works. I don't have to change it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So progressing past the truth, progressing past the goal doesn't always have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, is that we were good at this. We learned how to do this. This was all taken care of, but we got to progress. We got to move past.
Yeah.
Right. So like these, just like you said, these people, they're not on a bunch of drugs and they don't have a bunch of problems and they're smiling all the time.
Yeah.
What do they know that we don't know?
Yeah.
That's the thing. They don't. We know it.
Yeah.
They don't know anything we don't know. We know it. We've just progressed past it.
Yeah, you know, you'll go places like, I'm assuming it's the same with like Southeast Asia, but like in Central America, like you Costa Rica, Nicaragua, or whatever, and you'll see these guys who are like selling mangoes on the side of the street, having a good old time, making a living. And, you know, we have a country where, like, that would take like 900 permits for you to be able to sell mangoes on the side of the street. And it would be looked down upon like some shitty job. Like, oh, you poor thing, you're forced to sell mangoes on the side of the street. Like, dude, he's got it. Like, he's feeding his family. He's having a good time. Vitamin D3 coming from the sun. You know, everything about it is good. We've just decided that, you know, well, you know, he doesn't get to have, I don't know, whatever.
Xbox.
Xbox paid vacation. Whatever. Who gives a shit? Like he's having it. Like it's worked. It's always worked, and it's working now. Yeah. And for some reason, we get it in our head because, you know, white Western countries have to feel like, you know, like you're saying, progressivism. We have been doing it that way. There's no reason why we need to stop there. Well, yeah, the fuck there is, because it's fine. You know, like if it's not broke, don't fix it.
We're doing good, but that's the key there, though, because the reality is progression actually means control. That's what progress means to these folks. They get more control. They say the same thing about democracy. They're like, it's a threat to our democracy. What do they mean? Well, when they say democracy, what they really mean is their oligarchy, their little sphere of what they know and what they don't know. But, dude, we've been streaming for like 3 hours now. I'm going to let Tank get back from the bathroom. But it's probably going to be a good place to wrap it up. We could go longer, but I don't want to keep your entire day.
Sorry, it's getting dark around here.
Yeah, I can see that, man. I can see. Well, you're in Vegas.
We shut the sun down with this bitch.
Yeah, we're both over on the East Coast, but I don't want to keep you forever, but I really appreciate you coming on, man. And dude, our miscommunications and whatever else happened,
Yeah,
and
we
your
made it.
phone breaking, I thought the stream might be cursed because I was really looking forward to talking to you more
We
without
just had to
having to
feel
go.
anticipation.
Yes, but without having to go all the way back down to riches or whatever. And also, as we're trying to build this this conversation within this podcast, within this stream,
Mhm.
I was really like geared up toward all these guests this past month and in March, because I had some guests pretty much booked up for us in February. But March, I was like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, and you were like one of the first ones. And then I sent you the wrong time or something, just stupid stuff. And I get it, man. Like, I'm not about to like pin you down and be like, dude, what's going on? Like, text you constantly because you're a busy guy. You have your own life. You have whatever else. At the same time, I wanted to have you on because
I
you're
am
a
on.
dude. Yeah,
I am now on. We've made
Yeah.
it. And I'll come on, dude. I'll come on again. I'll come on.
Yeah, hell yeah, that'd be
we'll-
great.
we'll
Talk
definitely.
about, I want to come on and talk about the Soldiers for Wildlife thing.
Oh, dude, I'll definitely. I'll give you.
Yeah, I head out to Africa in 5 days.
Oh, awesome. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
hey, man.
trying to establish our new conservancy in Zambia. Zambia gave us 400 square miles to protect.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Go ahead and plug that now. Tell us about it, and I'll book you for the stream, man.
Cool.
I'll send you a text or something, and when you get back, we'll talk to you about that project. Okay.
Right on.
So
Right on.
let
That's,
everyone know what that is right now.
So it's Soldiers for Wildlife. We basically we combat poaching, child trafficking, and really just terror rape in Africa, mostly by Chicoms. They're really taking it to Africa right now. Africa is the Cold War right now. They're just just the poaching is a $30 billion a year industry, 99% of which goes to China.
Oh my God. Yeah.
$30 billion a year just in poaching. And that's not even to include the child trafficking, which is rampant in Africa. And so what we're doing is we're combating that, and we're doing a lot of community empowerment so that when these guys come and say, hey, take us out, show us where the animals are, so you can make $1 to feed your family, we're trying to give these people another option. So we're building a conservancy, an animal conservancy, and all that stuff. And we're like detectives. We go out and we find the poachers and try to get to the source and work the cases and just try to make it a better place for those people.
Kit, I'm glad you brought that up because I bring up often. So this is my second channel. Both these things are my babies. I know the lighting. You'll be all right, man. Amazing. Anyways, no, but I talk about this a lot with China buying up land and resources in Africa and all the things that they are doing. That's over in All Minus One. If anyone is new here now or in the future to watch this, go check out that. That's in the links to the description. But I keep my live shows separate from the pre-recorded stuff that I do, right? So that's the live show. And my wife actually particularly works in animal advocacy and not like crazy stuff. I mean, so I guess I could say it now because she said it the other week. She's okay with it. So my wife used to work for Project Veritas. She's worked for various other right libertarian leaning organizations. And right now she works for a group called White Coat Waste Project, which Matt Gaetz has used very much to defund the Wuhan lab and other things. Nice. Now, if you have seen recently, Matt Gaetz has been under pressure with some news headlines because supposedly he was being extorted. I don't know all of the details about this.
We'll see how that shakes out.
Right. Supposedly he was with a 17-year-old. If he knew she was 17 or not, what's the state law and the state that he's at, age of consent versus federal law, all these things. But my point is that I'm glad you could shout that out just generally, because a lot of people just aren't aware of a lot of things going on in the world behind the scenes that they do not see in the news. And again, I tell everybody, I'm a nobody. I literally am. I'm a guy that was in the military. I've sought out to do things in my life. I had a rough time for a long time. I'm a divorced guy. I have a daughter. I'm on my second marriage. I'm about ready to have a baby because I changed my life and made it to be better, you know? And with that, I've always kind of paid attention, but I've also gotten to have some behind the scenes things over the years. And I've had an interesting life as a nobody. I've actually lived through a hostage situation, if you could believe it or not, next door to me. Just crazy random thing. Right. And then later on had to guard the guy in the jail as I was a correctional officer who,
Oh, that's fun.
yeah.
Hey, neighbor.
What's up?
I said, hello, neighbor.
Yeah. No, he wasn't the neighbor. He
Oh.
came and killed my neighbor, who was an ex-girlfriend who had a protective order against, which is a 2A issue, by the way. Anyways, guys, just saying, I'm saying all this because Kit brought up an interesting point about poaching and animal advocacy and the crazy things going on with China. And really, you all need to reach out into the world beyond the MSNs, the CBSs, the ABCs, the NBCs, the CNNs, and even the Fox Newses, and educate yourselves and be more than those things, right? That's really what I want to tell you. And if you're in a hard spot now, especially if you're young, anyone out there listening, like this is a dude right here, very young, just like, I'm going to take life by the balls, right? You're like, I'm going to do this. This is my thing. So be inspired, do more, do better. And
do.
That's right. That's right, brother. That's right. And just realize that the world you are fed, the world that is perceived by your eyes isn't the fullness of it. And, Tank talked about his experience in China and other nations. I've been, of course, to other nations as well, third world nations, a big thing that woke me up as a very young man. And you too, Kit. And so to kind of round this all out, I just want to say, like, guys, don't give up, be inspired, try and do more, try and reach out there. I'm not Anthony Robbins. I'm not going to be like, you can live your best life or whatever it is. But you cannot be blackpilled by the way things seem to be going. Life will continue. I guarantee it. Until the Lord returns, life will continue. And even afterwards, life will continue for those of you who are in the faith. But the point is, again, like, consciously look at what you're doing. See where you're failing. Take charge of that. It's okay to fail. We all fail. That is part of the learning process. And realize that even some random schmuck like me can get a 4-time world Muay Thai champion on his podcast who trains professional fighters. And don't get me wrong. I know how it works, man. I mean,
right, good landing.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I know how it works. Like, the world is far more small than you believe it to be, and we are all more connected.
Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid and live on purpose.
Well, Kid, I'm a rambler, and I haven't been trying to rambling. Obviously, I have been for the last few minutes, but that has, been me in my life, and I'm a thinker and just throw things out there. That's why I want guests. That's why I have Tank here to keep me in line, to not ramble too long. But with all that said, do you have any parting shots, brother? Because we should get going, right? Do you have anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
like I said, the Soldiers for Wildlife thing. We're a 501c3, right? So we depend on donations for our operational budget. We're, like you said, we just got 400 square miles in Zambia. Botswana just called. The new president of Botswana just called us, and so we've got a meeting with him next week to start taking over the efforts in Botswana, because that's really where a lot of the poaching is. It's really Zambia and Botswana are the two hotbeds of poaching, so yeah, go to the page, go to my Instagram, like I said, Kit Cope at Kit Cope. I'll have a link in my bio. Go to the Soldiers for Wildlife page, and donate $5. You know, that helps us to build that conservancy and and train the locals and empower them so that they can live an actual decent life without having to hurt the world. Beyond that, go to manshipbrand.com. The link is in your thing.
Yeah, it's on the YouTube. The link is there. I wasn't aware you were in the Soldiers for Wildlife, and I will put that in there as well. It'll be
Awesome.
a post-talk thing. So yeah.
Right on.
Tank, you got anything, man? You got any questions? You got any parting shots?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Thanks,
You sure?
Good.
All right, man. Well, we will be back, folks, on Friday. Tonight's Wednesday. We will be back Friday night. That is April 2nd with the Ends Justify the Drinks.
Ooh.
that is going to
I
happen.
hope not. I'm going to try and get some decent whiskey and not slam it. We'll see what the rest of the crew does.
I look forward to seeing how that works out.
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You
It-
do
it-
not look forward to that.
It might not be left up. It might be a one-time thing. It might be a live show, and that is the end of it. We will see how it goes, but we will have our friends on, Don the Pleb, Yiz the Eunuch, and Jeremy and Delaney.
And Kizza, right? Kizza's going to be there?
Kizza will be there as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Kid's like, what the hell's going on? These internet names. What's going on? I live in the real world. I try to as well, brother. I'm half in, half out, but our friends Jeremy and Delaney from the Weekly Narrative will be here as well. And sorry to steal any thunder from anything you had to say, Kit.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, man.
No. I will check out your organization and put it in the links here too for reviewers. Guys, that's been it. Thank you. I got some stuff in the chat with Bunny, whatever. We gotta go, guys. I don't care. We gotta go.
I'll check you guys later, man.
All
yeah.
right. Thanks.
for
Bye.
having me.
Then the ends justify the memes. And remember, guys, the ends always justify those memes. Play that outro, Tank.